Hola, amigos, and welcome to the live stream.
Hello.
Just getting prepared here. Different angle and different time this week because of Bob.
Cause I had to work.
Bob has other responsibilities, unlike me. I'm just kidding. School, but it does not affect my podcast time. All right. Bob, this webcam's so bad. No one can even read that. I can read it because
I know.
it's kind of great. Like I can kind of barely make it
I
on
know.
the because my screen's a little bigger on the
I
on
should have made
Discord.
it. I should have made the font
You
bigger.
should have made like a poster. You should have painted the wall like that. This wall is under construction. Is that the? I can't even. Is that like the image of like the missing loop thing
Yeah.
with like with the train going? Yes. So eloquent. I got my like whole like nice strobe lights back here and like the lit up and just like a piece of paper. I love it.
Well, I mean, you understand my point though. Like, I don't until I get my webcam and see
Yeah.
exactly where it aims. Like, I don't want to set this up.
No, I get you.
But that webcam's coming soon, like Pantheon and Iron Gwazi.
And my couch. Literally every week they tell me it's coming the next week. Every week they're like, 1 more week. And I'm like, no, don't lie to me. Don't you do it.
What number is this?
If
97?
you're asking me my opinion on Dominator, it's kind of overrated. I think Dominator is it's
What
good.
number is this?
The thing is, Dominator gets so people at King's Dominion. I think understand that it's not as good. I'm not listening to you because I thought you were just talking to yourself. You talk to yourself about stuff.
I do, but okay, I figured it out. It's 96.
There's 2 audio captures on here. Hopefully that's not affecting you. All right. Yeah, this is 96.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, I edited the date. I don't care about the actual episode title. I like remember the date's the thing I mess up. So that's why I edit that as soon as I get on there.
You always mess up the date. Even when it's there, you mess up the date.
No, not true. False.
Don't say it's not true because you know it's true.
All right.
It is.
What are we gonna talk about in the second half of the show? The third half.
The third half. Dominators.
It's all right.
It was better as Batman Night Flight.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. That's about it.
We did a lot.
Everybody seems to think like people that come out to King's Dominion that aren't from King's Dominion, like this area in Virginia, they love it. They like love that, right? They think Dominator is amazing, and I feel like everybody else around Virginia like doesn't like it. So it's like there's 2 contrasting views on Dominator.
I think the thing is people think they have to like it because it's like the new big coaster, but it's not really new at all.
Yeah, and I think people think they have to like it too because it is the longest floorless coaster. So they're always like, "Oh yeah, this is the longest floorless coaster," and then it's almost like they've hyped it up, just kind of like with Alpengeist.
I still love when King's Dominion printed those banners for that, like their celebration, and they're like, oh, they had like the whole timeline and everything had a banner, and they're like, oh, in 2007 we opened Dominator, and it like went on, and it was like it's 4,700 whatever feet tall. Like I have a picture of it, so I hope I still have that picture somewhere.
I have. It's 2008. I have but it doesn't say they reprinted this one. I think
that's right. It closed in 2007, or well, it moved in. That's right.
It's the park's 14th roller coaster. It's the longest floorless coaster in the world.
No, they had a big banner hanging in the park, and it said it was 4,700 some feet tall.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying this one must have gotten the reprint. This one hang at the park, so that's kind of cool.
What's that?
So this one did hang at the park.
Well, no, the one I'm talking about was like
different.
In front of the Eiffel Tower. It was like
one of the big
ones. It wouldn't
ones.
fit in your room type. Yeah.
It might fit my room. It would just take up the entire room probably.
It would just have to be folded, rolled up.
Or like
You couldn't
stretched
hang
across
it
my
in your room.
entire room.
Yeah, yeah. And then you'd have to hold your head sideways to read it.
Hey guys, welcome to and that would be like above me right now. It's just like laying across my everything. So I'm just like, it's like, hey guys, what's going on? All right.
All right.
Second half of the show, we have a poll.
Oh wait, we're doing that.
We don't have a discussion though. Well, second half of the show, we should talk about some.
Let's talk about Dominator at King's Dominion.
Oh, Bob.
Talk about Geauga Lake.
No. We can talk about these new lights I got and how cool they are. Just kidding.
How old were you when it closed?
Geauga Lake closed 2006 or 2007?
2007.
I was like 4 then.
Oh, it's
That was the greatest drink ever. That was pretty great.
You should record that and use it as a sound effect.
Yeah.
Actually, I have it recorded because I still have my audio. I'm still watching my audio. And so far, I think it's okay. But you haven't made me mad yet, so.
What are we going to talk about in the second half, Bob? Should be something controversial, something big, something exciting, something bold, something sexy. Something. Yeah, I've heard that Bush is getting ready for Christmas. It's exciting. Oh, I did put I put Carowinds on there. I was about to say.
I want to see if I want to see how badly I got downvoted for what I applied to this morning.
What was it?
Dude was like, somebody posted to Reddit that well, they put the thread was posted about the Starflyer going backwards. And some guy posts, he's like, you know what they do is they just turn the seats around. And it's like, okay. First of all, he's not thinking, but like all you have to do is search for any other video of the ride and you can clearly see that's not the case. But no, he posts and he says all this shit and he gets upvoted. He had like 10 upvotes. I'm like, what the hell? Like, how did, like, and then Rack responded to him and he's like, no, this isn't what they do. He had like -1. Like, what the hell? Like, you got, like, nobody was even paying attention. Like, I replied and I probably was pretty mean, but. Oh, Bob look, Bean? I didn't get any upvotes. Oh, he deleted his comment. Awesome.
I didn't even know Joe Biden he has a Reddit page.
Everybody has a Reddit page.
Everybody has a Reddit page. Everybody, Bob. Every single one of them.
Look, I can post links now.
Why can you post links now?
Because you fixed my administrator thing.
Oh, you mean in the chat? Okay.
Yeah. I don't have a Reddit page. What if I started r/Pam? I'm sure that's already a Reddit page, but
r/Ojill.
oh, Jill.
Just get Pam on there. Bob, what are we talking about in the second half of the show?
I mean, does it? Joe Biden probably doesn't have. It's probably not his Reddit page.
It was a
probably just
it was a
something they
political ad
started.
for him, so I would just assume that's his. I don't know anybody that would post a political ad. I would think it would be like a meme account if it was, or like not a meme, but like a troll account, like Trolling Joe. Living just enough for the city. Bone, bone.
Test, 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 test. So it looks like I'm.
How do you
like
not
my
take
background
physics?
noise.
This guy graduated high school with calculus and calculus 1, and he never took physics. How do you not take physics?
Different high schools have different requirements.
I've never heard I feel like everyone in their entire life has taken physics. It's like basic
I
understanding
don't know if
of our planet and how everything
I don't know if
functions.
it's a requirement in. I don't know. I didn't. Well, I never. I was never a senior, so I don't know if it was if that's when they. But like, I don't know if it was a requirement. I know they had it, but oh, all right.
All right, second half of the show for the 18th time. I'm just going to keep bringing that up until we actually discover something.
I don't know. That's Pam's job. Pam, what are we talking about the second half of the show?
This can be anything, Pam. Anything like something good though, like something intriguing, like an opinion. It can be an opinionative statement that we just argue about. It can be or agree, because we do agree sometimes. We already talking about Carowinds in the news segment of the show.
I'm getting tired of talking about Carowinds, to be honest.
Carowinds in California coming right back up this week.
I don't want to talk about them.
I mean, that's like half of our news segment. So.
I know, but it's not just France either. Oh, yeah, I see that.
I think some other European countries are doing it too, but it's like not as much, not as like significant.
That's a tough one because Gravity Group's up there too.
Yeah, I don't know that one. We've done that before too. We've done like, I think I did an episode GCI versus Gravity Group, so where I talked about that and had people on. See, the thing is, I've done so much of this stuff, like the things that come off the top of your head, I've already talked about, because it's the same thing that I've done. I just kind of think about stuff and I'm like, oh, people talk about that a lot. There's got to be something like a little more unique than just like the normal Kuster jabble. I've done the best parks in Europe.
And he wrote all the POVs.
I don't know if I did but I did the best parks in Europe and like as a weekly poll. It wasn't like me ranking them. B&M
Hey, lasers for sale.
Oh yeah. I think I saw that on. Is that on Reddit? I think I saw something was for sale.
Yeah.
Living just enough for the city.
Dorney should buy it. No, Knoebel should buy it. How awesome would that be for Laser to like end up moving a park over? Overrated and underrated. VR, that was so like a year or two ago.
And everyone thought that was the future. Still might be, but it's definitely not with what we got right now. The technology we have right now. Guess what's coming back up around the corner, Bob?
Christmas?
Yes, but also the year coaster tournament thing. I don't know if we're doing that. I don't know if I want to do that annually, or I feel like we just did that. It's crazy. That was almost a year ago now. That was in like January of last year.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god.
So we have like two or three months, yeah. And then we're back to that. Nah.
I don't know. I really don't know what to talk about. I mean, there's
Why is a polished cherry underrated?
why is a polished cherry underrated? Because everybody's rode Diamondback and now Candemonium.
Yeah, it is a coaster. Well, I mean, it depends on your definition, I guess. You can count it.
Yeah, it's hard to discount that, and I mean, I don't. We need to talk to Dwayne. We need to interview Dwayne. Can we get Dwayne on the show?
You know more Dwayne than I do. Yeah.
I don't know him. I just know. I know of him.
I'm sure I could contact him. And do you want to have? We can have him on for 100.
We can say, look, why is this zip line coaster thing not on our CDB?
Oh
Be like,
yes,
that's it.
polished cherry is better than Diamondback. Well, based on my
no.
previous rides on Diamondback, Diamondback's not that good. It's just it's good, but it's not like great.
Diamondback gets moody sometimes. Dwayne runs RCDB.
So I have Diamondback and a polished cherry next to each other. I have Diamondback in one spot above it because my last ride I got on it when I went to Kings Island was actually pretty good, but I still think Apollo's is it's up there with it. It's really close. I had Apollo's over it for a very long time though, so I can understand that opinion. What are some parks I need to
I don't know. I really don't know what to talk about.
Bob, I don't know either.
I want to just go to bed.
That's the spirit. What park executes its theme to the best of its ability? That's pretty easy then.
Disney.
Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg.
No. Oh, did you put the Never mind. You put it on there. The removal of Batwing. I mean, 15 rides.
You think they're gonna remove Batwing?
I don't know.
Don't start.
I actually really don't know.
start. Don't start talking about what we're gonna talk about on the show. If we could
How
work,
ironic it.
if we could work at one park, where would we work?
Oh, I know the answer to that.
Is it SeaWorld corporate
Where would you
headquarters?
work? No, 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 no.
I thought you wanted to be
No.
a executive there. Get all the tax, get all their revenue.
Get my stock bonuses.
Be rolling some
Just
dough.
think, just remember, for everybody you screw over, you get $2. If you can screw over all of our pass holders at once, that's like 2 million.
It's the Jackbox. Why are there so few new generation Vekoma coasters in the U.S.?
Because they were waiting for Dino's Wonder Wheel Park.
They're like, we cannot do it until.
Man, there really is like nothing.
We have. There's. I mean, there is.
There's nothing to talk about. No,
Oh man.
we've reached the end.
Coaster Talk is. We're done. We're dissolving the show.
We've finished. We finished the internet.
Do you want to do a cheat? Do you want to do a cheese out and just do our top coasters again? We haven't done that in a while on my list and your list. Have yours updated at all?
Probably not.
Mine has.
No, mine hasn't. We could talk about that. Like dry areas. There's no parks.
Utah.
And why we
Lagoon.
think there's no parks.
Lagoon wants to know your location.
What?
Lagoon wants to know your location.
They want to know your location?
That's just like what people say.
Why?
It's just the same thing as like Lagoon has entered the chat or whatever. It's like the same kind of. It's just like when Google says like it wants to know your location. It's like Lagoon wants to know your location. Lagoon wants to know where you're at because it's like, come on, man.
Okay.
I'm in the desert.
Oh, ha ha ha. Okay. Yeah.
I don't get jokes because I'm not funny. I'm just kidding. My hair sucks, man. Literally,
Oh, how did I miss this one?
you get a haircut.
There's a Schwarzkopf that can't be installed in Europe due to building codes.
Is that old or new?
It's old. It's really old. It's also in Dutch. Can't read
I feel like
that.
there's multiple coaster deserts in the U.S.
Or maybe German.
You have like the Northwest.
Yeah, there are.
You have kind of like the whole middle of the country, except for like Texas and you have a couple of like Silver Dollar City spread out, but they're like pretty far from each other. I mean, the East Coast is really just like the place to be for coaster enthusiasts. You have like 15 parks within like day drive of each other. It's crazy. Not more than 15, but like that's just.
I just have to wonder, like, how'd California get shit?
Because it's California.
Yeah, I mean, like, the reason why it's all centered around here is, I mean, for the most part, it's probably because of, like, the mines and stuff. And, like, that's what roller coasters here were born out of. Pennsylvania and West Virginia and stuff.
I think it's just because we have a lot of metro cities very close to each other, and people are like, we can profit off of that and their entertainment. There's
Yeah,
no.
but I feel like a lot of people just don't care about coasters outside of here.
Um.
Now, the question is that because they just don't have them, or
What do you mean
do
by
they not
that?
have them because they don't care? Like you talk to people like that, that's the reason why you don't have like major parks in certain areas of the US. Like nobody really is like, "Oh, I want to go ride a roller coaster." Like there's some people there, but the majority of people are just like, eh.
Are you? I mean, are you like
See,
saying?
we can talk about this.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think that's. I don't know if that's right. I mean, pretty much
All the more reason
every
for us to argue
geographical
about it.
area in the United States has a park, somewhat. You know, like even, I mean, like Idaho. I mean, for Christ's sake, we talked about they're getting a coaster. Like they had a park there with a coaster. I mean, there are places like pretty much every state has a coaster. I just think sometimes it's more of the location of the actual
Why are
state.
we discussing this now? Why don't we just put it on the rundown and talk about it
So I
on
don't know.
the podcast?
I don't think it's worthwhile to talk about, honestly.
The problem is there's a lot of people that aren't they just don't care. They won't ride roller coasters there. Like there's more in on the East Coast that will.
And I think that is because we're in such
Is
a
it?
highly populated area and there's more people to.
I don't know. I don't know about that. But is it because we have coasters here
It's because we have Philadelphia,
and they
Washington
just
D.C., New York City, Miami, Orlando, all of those on one highway, like, and they're easily accessible, and there's millions of people. Like if you go to the middle of the country, there's like not as much people in one little area. There's no point in building a park. Like that's why Lagoon's in the middle. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's in Salt Lake City. It's like there's no park close to it, but it's at Salt Lake City. That's a big metro city. That's the only reason they built Lagoon. They didn't just build it in the middle of nowhere. They were like, oh, there's this pretty big size city here. Let's build that. Like, that's why I mean, you know this. I know most parks are built around major cities
yeah,
for that exact
except
reason.
Knoebels and Holiday World.
Well, I mean,
Well, even
Holiday
Holiday
World's like an hour from Louisville, so that's not really that far. And then
Knoebels. So.
Knoebels is like it's like 2 or 3 hours from Philadelphia, but still.
Knoebels is
Knoebels is an
it's close
exception in
to
its own. That's kind of one of the big
yeah,
exceptions.
yeah. Knoebels closest city I think is Williamsport.
But Knoebels has like they have towns like all around them. It's not like in the like Holiday World's kind of actually in the middle of nowhere, but they're still like an hour from
There's towns
Louisville.
all everywhere.
I know, but like, well, what is the town that's like near? Because I know I always thought the Knoebels is in the middle of nowhere.
You guys, we're gonna talk about this for a half an hour before we start recording.
Knoebels
We
is in
could
the
have
middle
just
of nowhere, Bob. But you go like
yeah.
15 minutes up the road, and there's like an actually somewhat big sized like it was a pretty nice sized town. I was like, what the heck? I've always thought it was like literally nowhere. Like I thought this is Holiday World 2.0, but I mean, I don't know what town was. It was where we stayed at our Airbnb. It was actually like a pretty populated area. I was surprised by that. Like it wasn't like a small little town. It was pretty big.
That was a town. It wasn't a major metropolitan area. It was a
No, it
town.
wasn't a city, but it was like borderline. There were a couple of like somewhat skyscrapers. They weren't.
There weren't any skyscrapers.
I'm not lying to you.
What are you smoking? There was no skyscrapers
I'm not lying
there.
to you, Bob. I need to find out
You
where
are
this
lying.
is. I don't remember
You
where we
you
stayed
got
now.
memory issues.
Do not have Danville. That's where we stayed.
All right. It's 5 till 10.
That's early for us.
No, I don't think we've ever not started recording by now.
I beg to differ. I definitely think that.
Have we?
I think so.
So I listened to Ride This One.
Oh my god. Did you?
I actually loved it.
Are you kidding me? That's such a.
It's hilarious.
I cannot. I can't.
It's hilarious.
Have fun, Bob. I mean, it's a pretty nice sized city, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, not city, but like that's like
These are not skyscrapers.
they're not skyscrapers, no, but that was an
You
exaggeration.
said skyscrapers.
They're not. I mean, they're not far from it. A couple more stories, and there's kind of skyscrapers.
It's not a skyscraper.
Then you don't consider Richmond a skyscrapers, then, because Richmond, I wouldn't say the buildings are a tad taller than that. Some of them, and they're considered skyscrapers.
I don't know what Richmond's purpose is.
It's a great city.
I know it is. It's the capital too. I get it.
What's the purpose of Carson City, Nevada? I've never heard anything ever happening there, but that's the capital of Nevada. Richmond has a lot of stuff going on. A lot of times it's not good stuff, but we've been in national news multiple times. All right, I guess we'll talk about this. This is dumb, but we'll talk about it. I mean,
Why is it dumb?
What are we talking about? Because I don't think it's like, it's just basic knowledge that parks are built around metropolitan areas. There are a couple of exceptions.
And yet we just talked about it for 15 minutes.
I know, but
reasoning
because
behind it.
it's like, what's the reasoning behind building something in a metropolitan area? Is that it's in a metropolitan area. That's literally the reason itself. There's no other reason. That's literally the reason. They're not like,
There's other metropolitan areas that don't have. What about Seattle?
Seattle has whatever it's called. It's a small park, but it's a park. It's Wild Waves. I'm not saying every park. I'm not saying every city has a park, but every park, pretty much, for the most part, has a city. Like, that's my claim. Oh my God.
Oh, what is the purpose of Baton Rouge? I'm not really sure. What's the purpose of Louisiana?
I know, to be honest, really. Other than New Orleans. New Orleans can just become its own little... The state should just be called New Orleans. That should just be the state's name. Like, that's all... And you say Louisiana, people are like, oh, New Orleans?
New Orleans.
No. Candemonium is better than Apollo Straight, I think. All right. What are we going to call this? What are we talking about?
The absence of coasters. Coaster deserts.
I mean, anybody can do this.
Hey, look at the bright side. If it's bad, this is all Pam's fault. What is the purpose of coasters?
What is the purpose of humans?
Have you ever sat and thought about this whole concept that
Yes, I have.
we humans spend millions of dollars?
I have thought about that so many times. I've thought about that, like aliens come down.
They come no purpose than to scare the shit out of ourselves.
I always thought that, like, when someone comes down, like aliens come down, they're gonna be like, what are these guys are like? Do they torture their general public? Like, what is this? What's going on here? Oh, man. Times are hard. You're afraid to leave the key, so you find yourself somebody. All right. Wow, I did not know Missouri actually has more coasters than Virginia. How is that?
Actually, Virginia only has 2 parks. Well, Funland.
I know, but people always, whenever people say like best states for parks, people always go Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida. Like, Virginia's always included in that, which I know we have 2 really good ones, but still, it's like, I always thought like we're a bigger coaster park. We're really not. Or bigger coaster state.
I think seriously, the best place to live for coasters is in Pennsylvania.
I think where I live is pretty great. I think It's up there. We could talk about that. Where's the best place to live? I think I talked about the best states, but I mean that's not the same as living.
We've yeah. No, yeah, we talked about that when that report came when that guy did that like mathematical thing.
Maybe.
No, Pam. Yeah. Wait, hold on. You gave us the topic. If the topic is bad, it's your fault. I mean, that's just the way it works.
If we can't talk about it, then nobody can talk about it. So that's kind of your. All right, are you ready?
Skyrush is not meh. There's nothing meh about Skyrush.
That's the one word I would hear no one ever describe it. Like either people hate it and they're like it's awful, or they're like it's amazing. I've never heard anybody go, it's all right.
Yeah. Indiana? I mean, is it for coasters? I guess you have Kings Island
And Kentucky Kingdom.
But I mean,
And then
yeah,
Holiday World, Indiana
Holiday
Beach,
World.
Beach Bend. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. That's pretty good.
I mean, in comparison, though, like
Dollywood's
Pennsylvania,
probably not too far from there, I would imagine.
you hate the restraints on Flight of Fear?
Flight of Fear. I don't enjoy them actually either. I don't hate them, but
Really?
yeah, they sometimes come down pretty hard on you.
I mean, the old one sucked, but
They like clamp. Okay, depends on which one. So what happens is Cedar Point as well as Great America. Oh yeah, those aren't too far.
how far is Cedar Point from you?
All right, but real quick but the thing is, if you sit on the left side of Flight of Fear, there's like this weird uneven foot rest that they have or something, and you literally like the restraint has like those foot like restrictors, so like you can't lift your feet up, and it literally like smashes your foot down on the left side. On the right side, it's not there for some reason, but I always notice that whenever I ride on the left side of Flight of Fear, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot about that, and it always like
Does it have
kills
it
my
has
foot.
shin guards?
Doesn't have shin. It has like feet. It has like feet guards. I guess they're literally like at your feet.
Huh.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
weird.
I never had an issue with them. Maybe it's
Cedar
just
Point's
taller
3
people
hours.
have
That's pretty good drive. Yeah, that's what Carowinds is for
Yeah,
me.
that's not bad. Well, everything is like well.
How does? Oh man! All right. One sec, let me plug this in. That's actually not a bad location. I'm trying to see Flight of Fear. They used to have over-the-shoulder restraints.
Yeah,
Never.
it
knew
was
that.
hell.
Never,
Hell on earth.
Never knew that. You can't really.
You want to
see
talk
it.
about pain?
I'm trying to find. There's literally no image of this restraints on this thing. This is crazy. Nobody's ever taken a picture of Flight of Fear's restraints, I guess. And its restraints.
I mean, it's kind of hard to.
I'm gonna do it next time. Next time I'm at Kings Dominion, which might be a long time.
You
I'll
do
probably
it.
I'll probably forget about it.
Daniel
Honestly,
to do it.
I'll forget about it. Hey, I'm gonna get a nice camera
Daniel
here.
needs to start-
I'm getting a nice camera here soon, so I'll be up there with Daniel. He has a lot more of expensive. I'm gonna
You're not gonna.
have a nice camera.
Well,
here.
yeah, and also the experience of Daniel too.
You want to know who got Daniel back into photography though? Was J Barb the Great right here. So I don't want to hear it. I said, Daniel, man, you should start an Instagram page about roller coasters. And he's like, I've thought of that maybe. I'm like, but Daniel, do it, man. You have the camera, do it. And he's like, I'll do it. And now he's like bigger than even we are, but it's crazy. On Instagram. I think
It's because he's good at it.
yeah. I mean, no, he's good at it. But basically, if you
I wish I was recording it. Well,
if you have, I'm not gonna. You can tell him this, and he knows this. I've told him this before. If you get,
you going
No. I said because what happens is with Instagram, if you buy a nice camera, which is part of that's not why I'm doing it, but I know what's gonna happen. When you start taking, anybody can just buy a nice camera, start taking pretty good photos of roller coasters, and then just post them to Instagram, and you just amass followers. It's crazy. It's just like like they just start flocking in, And if you post like consistently and you just keep posting like really nice like all the photographers on Instagram have lots of followers. They get lots of followers really quickly. Daniel's had this account. I've had my account like I had it for like a year or two before Daniel, and he's like way ahead of me now. It's just if I mean he is a really good photographer too. Like he does some really good stuff.
Yeah, he's really really good.
But like pretty much every roller coaster photographer on Instagram has a lot of followers.
Well, I mean, look at the upvotes you get on Reddit.
I know.
I took this sideways with my cell phone, my flip phone. Please upvote, and people were like 200 upvotes.
I'm gonna get a DSLR
All
that
because
shoots
it's still
video and
vengeance.
photo though.
Then you have somebody that like takes like really high quality picture of like Magnum, and everybody's like,
Bob, but you're the
"Dumbo."
kind of guy
Like,
that's gonna go. I'm gonna get this really nice camera, and you're gonna be like, my smartphone's just as good.
what? No.
Just like my. Never mind. We don't have time to talk about this.
Cell phone cameras are good, but
it was kind of a pun
wait.
because you think that the Razer mic's just as good as the Yeti, and they're like, it was kind of a joke at that, poke at that, but.
If we weren't on the air.
Oh, I know what I would get. I'll just say it to myself. How about that?
This isn't a gaming mic, though.
This isn't a gaming mic either.
Razer didn't. No, it's not.
Now this.
Yeah.
So what is your point? It doesn't have to be. I mean, it's kind of like for. I think people would buy that for like work calls and like getting on work meetings.
This is actually listed as a broadcast / gaming.
Okay.
It's the only one. It is the only one that is not $500 or $600. That's a headset for broadcast quality.
Oh, okay. I think Timmy has one that's not that expensive. I don't think it's $500 or $600.
It's a gaming mic. Huh?
It's not. Yeah, it's a gaming mic, but it's probably better quality.
Right, gaming.
But it's like, I don't know. I don't really. It doesn't matter.
It would have the same.
It's actually a Blue Yeti. There's like a Blue Yeti mic in it.
I don't have a problem with Blue Yeti. I just make fun of it because you were like so in love with them.
I don't love them. I just think. I mean, I think this is a really good mic. Like I don't really know much about them other than that they make mics. They make a Blue Yeti and they make a Blue Snowball.
They make a blue ball.
They do.
I need to go get a drink since we haven't started yet.
I need to. I'll be right back too. Keep you guys company. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I know we're supposed to start like an hour and a half ago or whatever, but it's whatever. Time kind of is elusive here.
Now we lost James too. Where do you ride it? Where have you rode Anaconda? What part of the train?
All right, you ready? We gotta start.
We can just start tomorrow, 12:01.
Screw it.
F it, we'll do it live.
I can hear you breathing right now through Discord, so I know that's not good.
Yeah, I have to adjust this. What the hell?
What?
Like I had it working, so maybe it's just because I'm breathing because I walked.
God, I know that walk was atrocious.
It is picking up. Damn. Screw you, James. Screw your ass, I'm going home.
Ah,
All right, I think that's better. I hope. I don't know. No, now it's not loud enough.
oh my God, we gotta start. But I also want good quality.
Quality?
Yeah. It's not
All
good
right.
quality when.
What I'll do is after we're done, I will run it through Nyquist, and I'll send you before and after.
All right.
So we'll see if that works any better too. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe we should just do it. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, there's no need to just send me the. I guess you could send me both. That way,
mean, unless
that way, in case it like messes up your audio, makes it sound weirder or worse, I can just have the original.
well, it's not gonna mess it up. It's just gotta cut.
I know, but it might sound like. Sometimes the noise reduction, like they.
It's not noise reduction though. It literally is just gonna slice it. It's not gonna change the audio at all. It just where I'm not talking, it's gonna cut. It's just gonna zero it out.
All right, yeah, that should work then.
But I mean, I'll send both anyway.
All right, let's start.
All right. Hopefully my volumes are good. All right. You ready to do this?
Mm-hmm.
3, 2.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. No matter what time you're listening to this, you are listening to Coaster Talk Podcast, your source for everything roller coasters. This is episode number 96. It's November 1st, 2020. My name is James.
And I'm Bob.
Good. We got it. No, we got it.
Oh
That's
my
good. That's good. We have the intro. Oh, I'm glad I did that. So suck it. Suck that. Yeah.
Suck it, suck it, suck it.
For once, it paid off. We had the intro, though. That was a good intro, so.
All right. So that means I have to actually cut it here. Where Where am I cutting? 15?
I'm at 14. But wherever you last talked
Wait,
would be
is
fine.
it just after? Wait, was I the last one talking?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, 14. I don't know if you noticed it. There was slight, like the second half of the first half of our show from last week,
Yeah, I fixed
slightly out of
that.
sync.
I fixed it. When did
You
you
did,
listen?
huh?
When did you listen to it?
Well, it doesn't matter. So my phone would have downloaded it right away and kept it.
Okay, but
So,
when did you Okay, when did it download it?
it, I mean, within 24 hours after you posted
All
it,
right, then yeah, it's
probably
been fixed.
actually
It's
within
been fixed
12
since
hours.
then. Yeah, it's been fixed hence then. It is weird that you have gotten one credit. I mean, a lot of credits in 2020. I don't think I've gotten 2 new credits with Orion and Candemonium.
We got one.
I'm just revisiting all these parks. Oh yeah, you haven't gotten on Orion yet. You'll get 1 with Copperhead Strike though, so you'll get 2.
I need a park to say where they're doing a New Year's Eve thing. Kind of upset about this.
Worst case scenario, we can all just have a big New Year's Eve party at
Let's talk Clint. Let's talk Clint into having a fun
maybe
New
like a
Year's
private
Eve.
one even.
Yeah.
Like if he won't do a public one because of COVID, maybe he'll be like, I'll just do a private one.
We probably shouldn't say that. New Year's Eve party. All right.
Well, let's also 1 second. 1 second, real quick.
We're never getting done tonight.
All right, there we go.
How late's everybody gonna stick with us? That's the question.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
All right.
I don't know what I'm gonna say though, so actually, wait, hold on.
Well, we need to figure that out.
Should we go into some small talk first, or should we just go straight into the stories?
I don't care. We usually do small talk, but I don't
know
really care.
I'm tired. You're tired. We could just say that. All right.
I don't think my brain's working right.
Here we go.
3, 2.
I'm tired, Bob. I'm really, really tired. That's about how this week's going.
And I worked all day, so.
Hey, I mean, I got school all day, so not entirely relaxed.
No. Yeah, well, see, there's a difference. There's mental exhaustion and physical exhaustion, and I got both.
True. I can't say I did any physical activity today, so yeah, no physical.
I actually did more than usual. It was not fun.
Doesn't sound fun now.
We're getting nowhere.
I thought you're
getting nowhere fast.
I thought you're gonna pick it up, man.
49 seconds.
49 seconds.
49. All right. Oh my god.
All right, I have a good transition here, I think, somewhat.
All right.
Hopefully.
3, 2.
We're tired from work and from school. Six Flags is tired from underperforming rides, and they're going to be eliminating 15 of their new, or not new rides, but they're going to be announcing new rides that they're going to be eliminating here soon. 15 attractions will be on the chopping block.
They're announcing old rides.
Old rides getting announced newly to be removed. There'll be a new announcement.
Newly removed.
There'll be a new announcement
about the old rides being newly removed.
Exactly. Yes. Oh man. That's just basic evidence of how tired we are.
Here's a question though.
Oh man.
When do you think we should go chain ourselves to Batwing? Do you think we should do it right away, or do you think we're okay, like maybe till January?
Yeah, as soon as Six Flags closes, I think we become part of that group of teenagers that always breaks into the parks in the off season and does something stupid. We'll be those guys, and we'll chain ourselves to Batwing.
I'm kind of not. I don't know what to expect. I mean, Batwing's kind of been more stable, it seems, and it's still a really popular ride.
Yeah, I don't know, but
so I'm not really.
Volcano was a very popular ride, Bob.
Cedar Fair is also dumb.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if we can totally discount Six Flags not being dumb too.
That's true.
Their level of stupidity is almost on par.
Well, the bright side is that Six Flags doesn't have like a grudge against Vekoma or something. So
yes, that is true. There isn't a.
But then there goes the Vortex. Oh, I guess Vortex wasn't quite as popular. It was a dumb move, but still, I don't know. Cedar Fair just made some really dumb moves, but Six Flags is also capable of such. I don't know. Totally. I mean, I guess I'm kind of at a point where I would understand if they had to do that, but Batwing's such a great ride, and they have. I mean, it really is something that Six Flags should try to keep around, or Six Flags America should try to keep around, because that's such a unique. Like, that is a reason to go to Six Flags in of itself.
I mean, to be honest, my last visit there, one of my favorite rides, definitely at the park. So I mean, it's definitely, it's a key attraction for them for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, it always has a line. I mean, some of that's because capacity isn't always.
Yeah, the operations are insanely slow on that as well, so that might help play into that. But it definitely, there always is a substantial, nice size of group of people that is outside of its station for sure.
Yeah. So outside of that, this is kind of like, I don't know. I think a lot of people kind of have the feeling, and I kind of see it this way too, that this might be more flat rides than
yes,
coasters.
So a lot of people are thinking that Great Adventure has one of the last top spins left. Left in the U.S., I believe. So that a lot of people are thinking they might get rid of those. Yeah,
I bet you that's gone.
That's a kind of a rumor, and everyone's kind of disappointed in that because people love the top spins, and there's so few and far between now.
But they're maintenance nightmares, and it costs so much to operate. I mean, that's kind of been a known thing. That's why they've been dropping. I mean, you think even just 5 years ago, Dorney, I don't know if Kennywood still had theirs, but Dorney had theirs. King's Dominion, Kings Island had already
one. I think they still had theirs.
I knew they had one. I don't know if they had it.
That was Tomb Raider, right? I can't think of.
Yeah,
I'll do some research real quick.
Not sure. There. I mean, there were 5 years ago. There were quite a few parks that still had top spins, and
closed in 2011. So. Yeah, not quite 5 years ago.
Well, that one also that was a giant top spin, which had its own breed of problems.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I can't think of them all, but I know there were. I don't remember when Kennywood got rid of theirs. Big Kahuna. It's kind of weird. I completely missed Kennywood having one. I had not from the time they got it to the time they got rid of it, I was not at Kennywood apparently. Because somebody said that, they're like, "Well, did you ever ride the one at Kennywood?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
They didn't have one.
I had to actually look it up, and I'm like, "Huh?" Yeah, I'm like, you're full of crap. Like, they didn't have one. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And I had to look it up, and I saw pictures of them. Like, I never saw that before in my life. So apparently, I never was at Kennywood during that entire time, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting though. I don't know. I mean, I think that's the thing though. With flat rides, it's you don't really notice. I don't know. People notice when they move coasters, even if they're not popular coasters. But sometimes flat rides can disappear, and people just don't even notice.
Yeah, it's just kind of blends
Actually,
in.
when Dorney got rid of their top spin, it was kind of like nobody knew anything was different.
Like, hey, wait, where's
Even
that?
when they got
Where
rid of their
wasn't there
spin
something? Wasn't
swing,
there?
like
Wasn't there
nobody.
something here?
Yeah, I feel
I
like
feel
I
like there
heard
was
something
a
there.
restaurant or maybe a
I-
ride. Maybe no, I don't think it was a ride.
And I think that one. I think it was Dorney that was Texas Twister from Jog Lake. I think.
I think so. I believe so. I believe that sounds familiar.
So, and I think Geauga Lake was like the first park to actually get a top spin. I may be wrong on that, but I think it was one of the first. Man, I remember when that opened. Like the commercials, like nobody knew what it was.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. This is a. It's not a weird move. I mean, their reasoning again is reducing maintenance and then freeing up significant capex resources, so they have more money to fix existing rides in their portfolio, so that they want to be able to spread their money around a little bit. I don't know why they chose 15 exactly, or what their reasoning for like
Well, that's how many parks they have.
well, yes, but like why it wasn't more, why it wasn't less, if like that, if they're just like every park gets it removed. I guess that was kind of their.
Yeah, I think that's the. I kind of have that feeling that it's going to be one ride from each park.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But in the same sense,
Which
it's
makes
like,
you question what's going away from Six Flags America. They don't
yeah,
really have a lot of flat rides.
they don't. Blizzard River is like that weird.
Uh,
I don't even
yeah,
know.
but didn't they just do a refurb on that?
No, this isn't. I don't think that's their River Rapids ride. That's their like weird.
No, that's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
Penguins, Blizzard, whatever.
yeah.
Like that. Yeah, they just. I think they just did some kind of refab on that like a year or two ago. Like got
I
new rafts or something.
They might have gotten new rafts, but I don't think those are too costly. So I don't know if that would be something that they'd be too upset about
I
getting
can't
rid of.
afford one.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy one. I can't afford it.
I can't afford.
Wouldn't fit in my apartment either, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. No, I would not. So I don't know.
Maybe I don't know. That seems to be a really popular attraction though in the summer.
I that would be my
I mean, there's a
go-to
roundup, but I
hypotheses.
can't imagine how much would the roundup actually cost to run. Can't imagine
I
that's
can't
much.
imagine it's that much.
Doo-doo drop?
Uh,
Doo-doo drop.
maybe they don't operate it that much. I don't feel like.
They only operate half. Oh no, they operate it. They only operate half of it.
Okay, well, I've heard that many times people go, it's not in operation. It's a lot. It's a lot of downtime. I've heard.
I don't think I've been. Well, yeah. I mean downtime, but like it operates. It just breaks down.
Well, that's.
They
I
fix
mean,
it.
other than Batwing, I would think that might be one of their go-tos to get rid of because of the maintenance costs. The maintenance costs.
Yeah,
On.
Voodoo Drop might be it. Get rid of the Larson Loop. We don't care about it either.
Oh God, please, just take that away for free.
Or
We
that
don't even care.
there's also that other ride that sits like when we were there. We were even talking about it.
Oh yes, Timmy
Timmy
wanted
was
to
like,
ride
"Oh,
that.
we should ride that," and we're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "It just sits in the corner usually. I can't believe it's actually running."
Yeah, I can't remember what that was, but
It's like the big flying carpet type thing, but it's sideways.
yes,
I can't remember the name of it.
yes.
But
I
yeah,
actually
usually that just sits
well,
there
and
while
but
they
but instead of
operate.
like the flying carpets, you actually they sit facing forward too, instead of like to this.
Yeah,
To
that's
the,
why I said you're sitting sideways.
yes,
And it's not a real flying carpet because those big ones
And there's
have
one arm too.
nothing on real flying.
And there's
Yeah,
one.
that yeah.
Yeah, I
The
like
zero
those.
flying carpets are far superior.
I like those rides though. They're fun. I mean, I did one at the state
Yeah, I'm
fair
not
at
saying they're
Virginia
bad
once.
rides, but I would ride Kennywood. I wish Kennywood would bring their flying carpet back because oh my god, the zero ones are absolutely amazing. Busch Gardens is like one of the few remaining, I think, and they just don't run it as fast as what Kennywood ran it. It just doesn't go as fast as
I don't know, but the Busch
Kennywood's.
Gardens one's a lot of fun. I love that. I love Da Vinci's
It is.
Cradle.
It is. I mean, it's zero. Of course, it's good.
Of course, of course. All right, so yeah, Six Flags removing 15 again underperforming rides. So these are going to be ones again. So when they say underperforming, that means not performing to the standard that it should be. If you don't know what underperforming means, you're on the wrong podcast, my friend. So yes,
Thanks for the English lesson there, James.
Underperforming, a verb. All right. We do have a coaster talk portion in our show, so we do need to talk about the English language some because we are talking. We are reiterating some ideas that we have. So sure, let's talk about some.
Okay.
Let's talk about some subject verb agreement. All right.
Moving on.
Yeah, if you're not from England, delete that. I'm not doing that. If you're not from, you got me going, Bob. I'm like freaking out.
You're freaking out.
I'm freaking out, man. I'm freaking out.
Freaking out, man.
I need my coasters. Where? Give me my coasters.
1226.
1226.
Wait, no. That's what you had?
Yep.
All right, cutting it 1226. Wait, well, I need to.
Yeah, if you're not
Right.
from,
You ready?
It might be further back actually. 1224.
Where? That's what? Do you want me to say? I said moving on.
Yeah, don't say that. We'll just.
You want me to cut before that?
Yeah.
All right, then I'm cutting at 12.
You can keep moving on actually.
Okay.
Just keep that, and then I'll go with that.
All right, so then it's like it's like 1224 and a half.
Yep, that's right where I have mine, so we're good.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2.
It is not looking good for the European enthusiasts as multiple countries have now declared national emergencies again and are forcing not only theme parks but restaurants and businesses to close down. So yeah, France and Germany are the two that we are reporting on today. I think there's a couple others that I don't know if they've invoked national emergencies, but I think it was like Sweden maybe or Scotland. I can't remember the exact
I'm not sure. There was
country, but there was like 3 or 4 that had possibly forced parks to shut back down. But France and Germany are the two that are declaring national emergencies and enforcing new guidelines that are forcing the parks to reshut down. So France, of course, is a national lockdown. You have to be like at home. You can't be doing movement unless you're an essential worker. You can't, or if you have medical reasons. So they're going back to like quarantine, pretty much. It's
yeah,
kind of strict.
Well, this is kind of I mean, the health professionals were kind of saying this might happen as it gets colder, and the virus might actually get worse. I mean, it's sad. I mean, at least most of the bulk of the theme park season's over, but this is going to be kind of a frustrating thing for people during the holidays, and like, okay, do you go to your relative's house? How it's going to be interesting.
And at what point do you say, let's live our lives? There's going to be that line there for people, and I don't know how the French in particular, the mindset is, but I know a considerable majority in America is kind of like, they're not tired of, but it's like if we went back into lockdown mode, I don't know how a lot of Americans would react. I don't know how the French are reacting, quite frankly.
But that's,
either,
I mean,
most
countries seem to be a lot more respectful of the virus than I mean, we can't get people to wear masks.
I don't know.
It's
I've heard some things in
it's
England.
kind of
I've heard some people
ridiculous.
in England. There's,
I'm not saying everybody, but
well, I'm not
I don't know
saying,
about England, but other countries seem to be. I don't know. Either way, it's you got to do what you got to do. I mean,
I agree
you
with the
don't want to
masks
put
and
people's
social
lives at
distancing, but
risk.
I don't know if
Yeah,
reinvoking a national
absolutely.
lockdown is necessary. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we don't really know what's going on there either.
I know. I have heard that France is getting like significantly worse. So the protocols and what all is happening in Germany and France. So they could have. I don't know if they were like really if they were slowly doing the thing like America where they're slowly kind of lifting some restrictions and making their way back, or if they were set on a certain. I don't know what their position was. I don't know what was going on, so I can't really comment on that. But I have heard
Yeah.
definitely. I have heard in the news like, oh, Europe's kind of rising again. But luckily, the U.S. doesn't
Yeah.
seem to be. So I wouldn't. For U.S.
I
enthusiasts, I
think
wouldn't.
we've started to get a slight spike, but it hasn't reached
It's
any
not really
major
worrisome.
level yet.
It's not
Yeah,
worrisome.
not I
Yeah.
mean, well, I mean, it's all
It's
worrisome,
all
but
work. It's not like
it's
it's
not
not anything to like freak out
it's
about and be
yeah,
like, oh my gosh, national emergency back
not yet. I
declared. Yeah.
mean, yeah, one would hope that it would kind of signify to people oh, hey, this is why we need to be wearing our masks, but I don't I mean, at this point of the game, the people that aren't wearing masks aren't going to wear masks. And I mean, it's kind of a ridiculous thing, but that's the thing. If everybody wore masks, we'd beat this thing and we wouldn't have to worry about this crap. It's frustrating. But it is kind of ironic that other countries are starting to go back into lockdown
I know.
when the first park in California might actually be opening
I know. It's kind of funny.
under the state guidelines,
Yeah. So
which is yeah,
yes, it'll be Santa
that's
Cruz Beach
what's that,
Boardwalk.
Santa Cruz.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah,
be Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk Park reopening under the guidelines of reopening, quote unquote, for California, because we know how great those guidelines are. Parks that are large, so if they have more than 15,000 visitors per their park, if that's their capacity, if that's like their maximum capacity, then they can reopen. So that's what they consider small parks, parks that can only fit up to 15,000 people, and then parks above 15,000 cannot reopen unless their area, their county, their jurisdiction reaches the yellow or the minimal tier 4, which is absurd. I mean, basically that has to mean there's no cases in the area. So Disney and Universal are not going to be reopening anytime soon, unless a miracle happens and does some readjustments of the guidelines. But Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk will open. They're going to be opening 8 to 12 rides, and about a third of the parks, or 8 to 12 rides. This article is confusing. It says 8 to 12 rides. The board should be mode of limited to 8 to 12 rides. About oh god, they didn't put a comma. Oh, they did put a comma. Never mind. 8 to
you just didn't read the comma.
It said 8 to 12 rides.
What time?
About a third of the park's 37 amusement rides, which makes sense. But it looked like it said 8 to 12 rides. About a third of the park's 37 amusement parks. So I thought they were saying or 30. Like I was confused. I thought they were still continuing. Maybe or maybe they might open all of them. I don't know. All right, 821 and a half, pretty much.
1821, you mean?
Yeah. No, 821. I'm just kidding. Let's just go backwards.
And a half. We're regressing.
Be opening.
Oh, actually, hold on 1 second.
They're going to be opening.
All right. 8, 3, 2.
8 to 12 of their 37 rides. There's so not a whole lot of rides opening. But again, they're only able to operate at 25% capacity or with 500 visitors, whichever is less. And they still have no
I mean,
date.
it's more than Disney's operating,
Yeah,
so
it's more people than there is at Disney. Yeah, for sure. They don't have an opening date, but they are looking at the next couple of weeks as a target for the park to reopen.
yeah, they should. You know what they should probably do is just kind of like tease it and say we're closed for the rest of 2021, or we're closed for the rest of 2020, and then start hiring people,
Yep.
and then which finally we got an announcement for that, which is
Yeah.
Carowinds Christmas Tastes of the Season, which is interesting. It's like a
Interesting.
combination of like different events for Christmas.
Yes, yes. I will say this. Someone told me prior to this being announced that it was going to be a food and wine festival take, and I was like, I believe they were hiring ride associates for a while too. So what was that purpose? But they are operating rides. So anyone this is not just because someone told me it's gonna be like the Knott's Berry Farm event, and I'm like, I believe Knott's is just doing the food stuff. So I believe they're hiring ride associates as well. So they are doing rides at Carowinds though, if that needs clarification for anybody. You actually have to go to the very bottom of the page, and you have to click around to, I believe it says like family rides or family attractions, and for some reason that's where they list all their rides that are opening up for the event. Like it's not broadcasted very loudly, or it's not really
What's it's interesting
notified.
is they have said that they're, if you follow a lot of the replies on Twitter, they've said Afterburn and Copperhead Strike are running, but they basically said that nothing on the ride end is official until November 9th. So they're going to release more information on November 9th, more about what's going on with it.
Also, if they do open, it'll be Ricochet as well. So they'll have 3 coasters if they open what they plan on opening. Also,
yeah, I did say that somewhere.
On their website it says that. So they'll be also opening family rides in the Camp Snoopy area. So you'll have things to do with your children if you're taking your kids there. Anybody listening with a family or younger kids? So yeah, this is
Which
pretty
could
much
include 2 other coasters then.
Yeah, they possibly could. So if you
Kitty
guys
Hawk and Woodstock Express, right?
if this is your kiddie excursion, if you're trying to get your kiddie credits there, you're gonna unlock at Carowinds because they'll probably have 2 of those 2 open. I don't know. Kitty Hawk I don't think is in Camp Snoopy fully. It's like right where Intimidator is, and then like you slowly start to creep into Camp Snoopy. So I don't know if they consider that part of Camp Snoopy or not. And then you make your Woodstock Express is definitely in that Camp Snoopy area. I don't know if maybe they consider Kitty Hawk like the beginning of Camp Snoopy, and then everything behind it's Camp Snoopy. But I know because right across from it's like Harmony Hall. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would ride it because hey, it's a coaster and it's fun. I like Kitty Hawk all right. So
I actually don't have that credit. When I went down there, I didn't get that or Woodstock Express. So I might get 2 new credits in 2020.
You're gonna top me. You'll end up with 4 new credits for 2020.
Yep. I have the
pretty
potential.
cool.
There's the potential for 3 new credits at
And wait a
Carowinds.
second. This is a little bit of a sneak, guys. We might be going to Six Flags Over Georgia too. You haven't gotten on Twisted Cyclone either. Have you or have you not? I don't think you said you.
Actually, I think I haven't been to. I was in Six Flags over Georgia since like 1999.
Geez, yeah, you might.
I think that's
You might get Goliath too. I mean, you're gonna get a boatload of credits then. Because Six Flags Over Georgia, yeah, I believe most of the rides that are operational are post 1999 rides. So, that's interesting. That's good. It's gonna be fun. So that is a little bit of a tease. We might be taking a Carowinds and Six Flags Over Georgia. Well, not might. I definitely will. Bob is pretty much.
I might be tagging along.
You might be tagging along.
Yeah, I have to look at the schedule and like see how it works.
Bob is a very important man, guys.
Yeah, I like to think the whole internet would collapse without me, but I don't think it would.
70% of the internet runs through his veins. Guys, through his veins. Bob is 70% of the internet.
It does run through the buildings that I work in, but I don't work on 70% of the internet though. It's just my little tiny, tiny little part.
All right. Well, new Christmas event, new coaster coming to Six Flags over Georgia. Nope. It's Universal Studios. To Six. Bob, don't even, Bob.
New coaster coming?
Yeah. There's a new coaster coming to Universal Studios. Did you know that? You might not have known that. I'm sorry. It's called
You said Six
Velocicoaster.
Flags.
I know. I said the wrong name. That's why I said I stopped. So go back to
know.
2355, the half of 2355.
2355.
Yes. I'm on 4155. What are you looking at?
Wait, I'm not even at 2355. What are you? Are you being serious? 2355?
2355.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm seriously, like, I ended at 2342, so
I don't know what you did there.
I don't know what you did.
I didn't do anything. I like how consistent my audio's staying, Bob.
All right, I said my little tiny part of the internet, and that ended at 2331. Is that where we're cutting it after I said that?
No,
Or did
it's
you
right
say
after I
something
said
after?
they're coming. I said the new coaster coming, and I'm gonna say to Universal Studios.
You're gonna have to figure out where it's at then, because
Oh boy.
I mean,
Alright,
I'm
I'll
not
do it.
to
It's fine.
2355, so
It's all right. I'll figure it out. There's something. I'll just delete some extra space where either one of us accidentally recorded or something.
all right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
To Universal Studios Orlando, we've talked about Velocicoaster, and no, we're not going to be talking about the construction or anything. I know we've brought that up quite a bit. We've brought up pretty much everything you can bring up about this ride. The construction, we've talked about how it looks in the new animations and all of that. But now, quickly, we're going to talk about the fact that they are teasing a March opening date, or maybe post-March, but they stated in an Instagram post, do you want to visit after March of 2021? Don't miss out on a 3-park promo then. So that was in a post that was also attributed with the image of, or kind of not even attributed, but it was part of the advertisement for the Velocicoaster. And they said, are you thinking of visiting after March of 2021 again? So kind of
on
leads
Twitter
people to
they
believe.
on Twitter they actually just posted something and they just said, "What are you doing in March?" That was the whole tweet.
Okay.
Which kind of like everybody kind of went, like people replying, riding Velocicoaster?
Question mark?
So yeah.
All right.
So there was another tease too.
So yes, that's all pointing towards a most likely March, maybe post-March, maybe April.
March-ish.
March-ish. March, as in.
Well, I would think if they're saying, "What are you doing in March?" I would kind of think that it's like beginning or mid-March.
Yeah, I would have to suspect that. But in the Instagram post, they did say thinking of visiting after March. So I don't know. It's interesting. Definitely interesting.
They open for March, and then they close for a month.
They open just the first day of March, and like they shatter the 10-hour line for Hagrid's. It's like 50 hours to get into this ride because so many people are trying to get on this one day. They're opening for March, and then they close it for the rest of the March, and then they're like, now you can come visit after March.
Let's be real about this. March did not go so well for us this year, so
no. March sucked. March was the worst month of the year this year. March was like, oh my gosh, theme parks are reopening, yay! And then it was like, nope, national emergency, we're closing everything down.
Just kidding. And Busch Gardens was like, nope, we're opening for one weekend. And then like, what was it, 10 hours before, they're like, wait, don't come, we lied.
Yeah, really. We're talking about Cedar Fair lying. Busch Gardens lied. We're talking about Cedar Fair lying on last week's episode. SeaWorld did it again. Man, they really got us there. I was like, yes, they're going to... I mean, but the thing is, it made logical sense because, I mean, they literally had all their other parks open in March, like that one weekend in March.
I mean, that's what they said. We're like, Everybody's good. They're all our parks are going to remain open this weekend. Well, Busch Gardens Williamsburg, last I checked, is one of their
They're
parks.
slated to open too. So I mean, oh yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
March, hopefully this 2021 coaster season will be much better, and we will see a Velocicoaster opening. Hopefully, and that's what
hope
it looks
so.
like. That's what it looks like they're pointing towards.
And maybe Iron Gwazi and maybe Pantheon
Yeah.
and
And maybe all of the coasters from 2020. Hopefully,
Yeah.
fingers crossed. Yeah. All right. Well, if you've ever felt like you are in one of the worst areas of the country for roller coasters and theme parks, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in the next half of the show. We're talking about the U.S. coaster deserts when we get back from this break. I don't know why I can do those so good, but then I can't think of like how to just create small talk. I can like think of like really good like transitions to the show. That's just a mental thing, I guess, but still. It's like I've almost created this mental formula that I just can't do the intro correctly the first time. I just have to mess it up. It's part of POTS, Bob.
So for this, I actually have to load up a map.
Do you?
Yeah, Coaster Cow. Actually, you should probably put a link to Coaster Cow in the show notes.
I'm just using RCDB.
Huh? No.
Yeah.
Coaster Cow's far more useful for this. Have you ever gone to it?
Yes. Fly like an eagle.
Please be visited.
What?
Please be visited that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the calendars on this site are currently inaccurate and most parks are closed. Stay safe by staying home. Advisited. That's a new word. Is that a word? Pam, is that a word? Advisited?
Is Busch Gardens open right now? Or is that wrong too? Oh, they are. I forgot they changed. They're going like Wednesdays and Thursdays. I forgot.
Well, there's a whole warning saying they're all wrong.
Well, they're no. That's I think that's actually right. So they might have updated some.
Oh yeah, they did. They added Thursday.
They added Wednesday too.
Yeah.
So they're basically not even. They're basically a year-round park right now. Like it's like they're literally like Monday and Tuesday is the only day they're closed. They're open like more days that they're closed. That's kind of funny.
SeaWorld San Diego's open. Knott's Berry Farm. I guess that's. Are they? Is that 7? Are those events 7 days a week, or they just don't? They just haven't updated it.
It would make sense if they're 7 days a week because they're not really operating anything, so they wouldn't really be losing money if they just left it open. Can look real quick.
Nickelodeon Universe is open. I love this site.
I hate this site.
Do you really?
They don't have any of the. Never mind, I lied. Don't laugh at me, Bob.
I laugh. I think it's funny. They are like they're missing little parks here and there, but it's mostly Washington State Fair.
I want to ride like an eagle. The sites are really slow.
Yep. Huh? It is?
Yeah.
They haven't even announced the Christmas event yet. How can they add days?
Who?
Pam.
Oh yeah, Busch Gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Come on, Pam. Oh, Jill.
Oh, Jill.
It's pretty great. Let's just talk about the whole like north. Literally, the Kosher Desert isn't the desert. It's literally.
It is the desert.
It's not. Because I mean, you got L.A. that has Adventure
Arizona.
Dome. Arizona is the only. That's kind of
But
it. Look at Montana,
Arizona doesn't have
Wyoming,
castles.
Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota. That's the real Kosher Desert, my friend.
There's like 3 people that live in each of those states.
That's the real Kosher Desert, my friend. Of the U.S. Every other like area, like even Arizona has a park. Like depending on if you live on the more rider side
They
of
have castles and coasters.
I know, and they have like you're closer to like if you're on one side of the state, you're closer to the Adventure Dome. If you're not, you're closer to cliffs. Like you're somewhat relatively close. And like if you're like in the middle of Montana, you're like screwed. Or if you're like in North Dakota, I mean, if you're like in North Dakota, you're screwed. You have like at least a 6, like I would say,
Oh my God.
7-8 hour drive to.
This I've been hearing the same train blowing his horn for like the last 2 minutes. It's like I don't even think the thing's moving. He's just sitting there like, yeah, help me, help me.
Central Indiana, I'm still a little confused. I feel like I can't. There's like no parks like in an immediate distance. I feel like that's good if you want to travel a lot, but if you want a close by park, it's not that great because the closest park's probably Kentucky Kingdom, and that's like, I mean Kings Island, and that's like still like like an hour or two. Do we still have the listener who was here for Central Indiana or no? Probably not.
I don't know. That's right. They haven't added.
West Virginia's pretty bad too.
Yeah. I don't know. West Virginia would be a great place for mountain coasters.
I think they have one.
Do they?
I thought so. At least maybe it's Maryland.
Maryland has one. I know that. Yeah, Camden though is like on the border of Kentucky, and West Virginia is a big state. You know, I never checked how far I am from Kings Island.
Oh, okay. This is weird. This is really weird. So
What's
the
that?
mount the. Oh no, so they do have one. Mountain Creek Rap Cabins. Mountain coaster. So there is one in West Virginia. So you have one mountain. See how close that is to you. Maybe you can go do that.
Good Lord.
What?
I'm 7 hours from Kings Island.
Jesus, I'm only 8. How? How does that work? I'm confused if this is in West Virginia or Maryland now. I think the resort is
Well,
in.
whatever you're talking.
The Wisp Resort is in.
That's Maryland.
Yeah, that's the Maryland one, but it just said it was located in West Virginia too. On their website, it says West Virginia.
Well, it's like It's in that part of Maryland that's
I think the
like you
resort
can
is
almost
actually
touch
in.
both Ohio or both Pennsylvania and West Virginia. Like you just spread your hands out and you can touch the other two states because Maryland is so thin.
Wait, no, I think this is a different one actually. I can't tell. I can't tell. I'm so confused. Wisp. There's the Wisp Resort, and then there's the Mountain Creek Resort. But it's at the Wisp Resort. All right. I just think it's in Maryland. I think that's just the one coaster. So I just think that the resort. I think the resort's located in both Maryland and West Virginia. So
That could
technically,
be.
technically, you got one kind of. Cause whatever.
We only have half.
Yeah, we'll just count on half. You got half a coaster.
I don't know. I've always heard it referred to as Maryland, so I don't know. So for me, that's crazy. For me to go to Kings Island, I basically have to go the quickest way the quickest way for me to go to Kings Island is to drive almost like yeah, literally to where my parents live. Like like
Bob,
literally.
it's closer for you to go to Carowinds.
What?
It's closer for you to go to Carowinds. It's 5 hours and 55 minutes to go to Carowinds. Which is so funny because I feel like
Yeah.
you're so much closer. That's so
The
weird.
quick it's so bizarre. The quickest way to get to Kings Island for me is to go basically through Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird. There's like no direct route. That's why like when I
Yeah,
go to,
there's not.
it's so weird. There's no like straight path right to Cincinnati.
That's so bizarre. So I wonder.
Hmm.
It's all the reason for that is all the mountains in West Virginia. Like all the interstates have to go around all the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway,
And all the theme parks have to go through metropolitan areas.
yeah, we'll talk about that.
I'm sure. All right, you ready?
Uh, sure.
I guess I'll just start off. I'm gonna start off saying, you know what would suck? Living in Nebraska. No, not even Nebraska. North Dakota. I
I
think
think
is the worst.
North Dakota
North Dakota or Montana.
on the border of Montana and North
Yeah,
Dakota.
exactly. Yeah. All right, are you ready?
Yep. 3, 2.
You know what would really suck, Bob?
What's that?
Living in the middle of North Dakota and Montana, living right on the border there of the two states. That would be like hell on earth.
Except it would be really cold.
Exactly. You'd be freezing over there instead of.
Hell would probably be hotter, but
I feel like hell might be a little hotter.
maybe you could say like then all of a sudden it's a cold day in hell.
Yeah, the devil just turned on the AC. Maybe I don't know. It's just there's no park within like I would
There is.
say at least 8 or 10 hours of you when you're in the
It's
middle of
probably depending where
maybe
you're
even
at, it's
longer.
probably more than that.
Yeah. I mean, holy
And
crap.
even then, it's like Silverwood.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe the Minnesota Mall of America. It's
Yeah, Nickelodeon Universe
yeah, it's not good. It's definitely not good.
or Valley Fair.
So we're talking about the coaster deserts here on this in this part of the show here. Then there's considerable amount of areas of the country that have a lot of amusement parks, and there's a considerable amount of areas of the country that don't. I would say that's probably the biggest one, though. Really, I mean, if you go on a map and you look, or we'll link one down there, coaster calendar, that actually has all
Yeah,
of the parks.
coastercow.com.
Coastercal.com, correct. It has pretty much all of the major parks in North America and the United States, actually in the world. But looking just at the United States on this map, you can just see a big gap. Like there's parks pretty much everywhere else, and yeah, there are some states and some other like little areas where there's not a lot of parks, but this is without a doubt like the biggest like just vacancy of amusement parks.
Though, you know what? As I look, like living in Canada might not be very fun.
No, no, would not.
Although actually, it doesn't look like. Oh no, they are listing. Yeah, La Ronde and Canada's Wonderland are there.
Yeah,
But it's so funny because they don't even look like they're in Canada. If you look at this whole map, they're like so close to the United States that it just doesn't
it
even
just
look like
blends
they're in
in. Yeah,
Canada.
yeah. I mean, and really, those
There's
parts of it.
Galaxyland in Edmonton.
Yes,
That's like the
yes,
only one that really looks like it's in Canada.
I know. I mean,
And
because
there's Playland in Vancouver.
those northern parts of Canada aren't even really inhabited. So, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. Canada doesn't really have any. Mexico either. I mean, Mexico's not as big, but there's really like it looks like there's 3 parks in the whole country. So that would not be fun.
I'm sure there's more than that.
You could also just live in
This is
Brazil
a
too. If you just lived in the middle of Brazil, that wouldn't be fun.
I think Brazil actually has some, but I think they're smaller parks.
They have some
I don't
listed
know.
like
I
in
know
the
this
southern
this site's less
edge of.
reliable when you get out of the United States. I think this site becomes less reliable
Yeah,
because
probably.
it's still a fairly new site. So there's still like everything's kind of has to be put in by hand.
Yeah.
And I mean they've done a great job of keeping up. I did notice like Arizona, it doesn't show any parks, but I do know that there is castles and coasters there. So they have a
Yeah.
couple
Yeah.
coasters. But I mean, even so, like even if you look at it, like you look at like California has a bunch of dots. Like you're I mean, unless you're like way up north of California, you're pretty good. And then of course, like you go over and look at Pennsylvania and it's just like everywhere you
Just
look,
throw up.
there's
Yeah.
parks. But then when like the whole like you look at like Colorado has
Elitch Gardens.
Lakeside and Elitch Gardens, but they're like fairly small and that's it. They're right next to each other, so like they're like you have to go to Denver no matter where you're at. Utah just has Lagoon. Las Vegas has like Adventure Dome and a
Yeah.
couple
Yeah.
like
Some
coasters here
fun
and there.
attractions. Yeah.
But like if you just look at it as a whole, it's just like these very few parks that are spaced out. So like it really wouldn't be I mean for a coaster enthusiast, it really wouldn't be fun living in like Utah or Colorado or even like
No.
New Mexico.
If you lived in Salt Lake
Like
City,
northern
you'd be all right with Utah. Going because the lagoon's such a big park.
I mean, yeah, you have Lagoon, but like that's it. Like look at what's where do you go if you want something other than Lagoon?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long drive to anything.
But I mean, if you're living in the middle of Montana, North Dakota, you got nothing. No matter, even if you want like a little, like even if you wanted, like I would trade that all day. Lagoon re-rides. I
Well,
guess I
I
just
mean,
have to
yeah,
put up
sure,
with that.
it's better than nothing. But like, thank God I was born in Pennsylvania and still live in roughly the same area.
I mean,
Because, but see, that's the question though. Why aren't there parks there? Is it just because of population? Or does it have to do with a different lifestyle where people just don't really look for that kind of entertainment?
it's population.
Or do they not look for that kind of entertainment because there just isn't that kind of entertainment?
It's population. Yeah, that's pretty
Which
much.
came first, James, the chicken or the egg?
it's population. So I mean, I'm not going to argue too much about that, but we will actually argue about that quite a bit, I'm sure.
I mean,
And look at
certainly population's
every.
part of it,
I
but
mean, not every city has a coaster for sure, but pretty much every city that has a theme, like the theme parks are all located near highly concentrated populations. So yeah, they're not every city's gonna have a theme park, but every theme park is pretty much gonna have its own city. Like there's a city that's somewhat nearby. Yeah,
yeah,
there's
but
some exceptions to that, but for the most, I'd say.
Seattle, I mean, while Seattle technically has a theme park, um, I mean, it's not really like I kind of consider that a desert where it just rains every now and then.
I mean,
Like
Wild Waves is
I
somewhat of a
really
nice
want.
sized park, so I wouldn't totally discount it. I mean, it's just like small family little park, so it has like 3 or 4 coasters though, so it's not like 1 or 2. It's pretty respectable sized park, I'd say. It's not crazy small. It isn't like a state fair, or
Yeah.
it isn't like a little like roadside attraction park. It's a pretty nice sized park. I know
All right.
because
So we've got Aerodynamics Loop and Corkscrew.
yep, it has a SNS wooden
Got an
coaster.
S&S wooden coaster.
Yep,
Okay, I'll give them that one.
you'll give it some.
Zamperla Zigzag.
Hmm.
What is this thing?
I mean,
Is
it's
this
it's it's a
is
respectable
this like a
size
wild
park,
mouse?
so
No,
it's
it's a wild mouse.
yeah, it is a wild
It's a
mouse.
Zamperla and a kitty coaster. I mean,
It's definitely not.
oh, it's a power coaster, so that doesn't even count.
Yeah, but maybe if
So
you're in
they're
Seattle,
really
maybe that's how
wooden.
people consider their credits. So maybe in Seattle, they're like, yeah, you know what, we don't got much, so we're just counting this power coaster.
So we count power coasters because we
Screw
have
it.
to, out of necessity.
Yeah, exactly. It's just. I
And
mean, they
then,
also have like
of
a
course, you have
they have a
Washington.
screen. They had an SNS drop tower. They have I think a Larson loop. They have like a extreme sky flyer. So I mean, I think they have like an Intamin water rapids ride. So I mean, they have. Yeah, it's not like the best coasters, but I mean, it's a pretty nice size park. It has some good solid attractions
I
there.
mean, I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't really either, but I mean, it is what it is. It's a park, you know. It's something. I would be if that was me and I was living in Seattle. I wouldn't trade it for again like Montana or Arizona or Nevada or I mean Nevada even. You talk about. I mean, yeah, you have California somewhat close to you, but other than Las Vegas down there in the Adventure Dome, you don't got much either. So I mean, there's just certain places where I would take Wild Waves. That's not bad. They have some cool flat
But I
rides,
mean,
as you pointed out. So.
the point is though, I mean, you've got California, but other than California, once you go past like Indiana, everything west of Indiana, except for California and Texas, well, let's say that, and even Texas, when you consider Texas's size, there's not a lot. I mean, it really is like, and I've never actually like really. I mean, I've heard people talk about it, but just visually looking at the United States on this site it's just like it's unreal. I mean, even Texas looks like it's so open and there's
I mean,
nothing there as far as like
Texas has 8
parks and
parks,
coasters.
so I mean,
Do you see how big Texas is?
yes, I really, no, I thought Texas was a small state. Now I
I
understand the
mean,
size of Texas, but I'm just saying
but I mean, like the spacing though continues. Like the size of
But
Texas is
that's the
still
thing,
like
Bob.
the
Look at where
same
all the parks in
on
Texas are
Colorado.
located. Look at where they're located. They're located in San Antonio, in Austin, in Dallas, in Houston. Like that's where the major big parks are at. There's like a few small ones that are like off in but even those are located in like somewhat okay sized cities. It's just that's just how parks. That's why they're there. They're there to appease a wide variety of audiences, and they only can do that by developing around cities. There are some exceptions. There are some small parks, and there are some, you know, But even like look at, I'd say every corporate park that I can think of is located near a big city. Even like Dorney Park, which is like, that's like outside of Philadelphia. You have, the
Well, Dorney
Kennywood's
also
like
you can kind of consider.
New York as well. Yeah, yeah. Dorney is like in a prime location. They really set themselves up well there. They're not like in the city, but they're not too far from it where nobody can. And they're close to somewhat other cities. They have Philadelphia. They have New York. Yeah, they have Washington even is somewhat relatively close. So I mean, Baltimore. All right, so that's just pretty much the incentive to build these parks is in somewhat big cities, and even if they're not like major, large like Washington D.C., big, huge cities like that, they're in like relatively high populated. Even if they're just towns, quote unquote, they're still heavily populated. Like Allentown, even though like we're talking about, like that would be considered like Wichita, Kansas. I don't know much about Wichita, Kansas.
There's nothing there. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There are cities that don't have in amongst this. There are cities that don't have parks.
Oh no, I agree, but that's what I'm saying. Is my initial retort to that is that not every city has a park, but every park pretty much has a city. Like not every park is going to be developed in a city. It's not going to be like, oh, let's go. Like not every city is going to like have somebody that's like let's build a park here, and they did in the past when they started doing theme parks in like the late 1800s and early 1900s.
That's my point is like, no, I'm not saying like, oh, why aren't there like Knoebels in the middle of nowhere, Montana? No, I understand that. But like the thing is like there's, I mean, yes, I know Montana is
the thing is
sparsely populated. They have cities. So you would think that if you put one in a city, they would draw people. I mean, with the absence of parks around, you draw people from further distances,
and you might
because they want to.
I just don't think there's been anybody attempting them. So I think it has to do with the investment, like how big of an investment it is. Because, like you said, let's just use Wichita, Kansas. I mean, if someone just built a park there and it does poorly, I mean, there's no like, it's not that large of a city, so there are somewhat, yeah.
Like, Billings, Montana. I mean, I know I've heard that name. Like, so like that's in the middle of all, like if you build a park in Billings, like, okay, even if Billings isn't like a major metropolitan area and you might not have all those locals, you would think that they would draw people from North Dakota and South Dakota and Wyoming to drive to that park. And you would think that there would be, but then that goes to my other point.
And that's why we have Silverwood too.
Are people even interested? Well, yeah, but Silverwood's, I mean, further away.
Depending on where you live in Montana, though, that's pretty close. So I mean, that might be where like.
Yes, but if you live on the eastern side of Montana, no, that's not. Or you live on the western side of North Dakota.
I agree.
Northwest, South Dakota.
I would say that's the worst area, like we said earlier, to live. But I think that might just because nobody's ever invested in it because.
No, look at how sparse, because there's not one there.
Because there's no. I know that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that nobody's ever done it, so nobody's sure how it will work out. Because I'm sure that it's a risky. Because again, there's like no major city within that vicinity. If you look on a map, there's no really large scale city in any of the areas of like you said, western or eastern Montana or western North Dakota, or like south eastern South Dakota. There's like no major cities. You have like Rapid City, which is not that big of a city, but even so, like that's not that really close to where I'm talking about. So there's like nothing there there's no reason for a park to be like, oh, let's build here, because there's not enough. I don't think there'd be enough clientele to come into their park.
That's what I'm saying is they would draw more clientele from larger areas.
But I don't think even if you did do that, I don't think even then, like, I don't think that'd be a sufficient amount. I mean, like, you'd have to be getting a lot of people driving long distances to get to this one park.
That goes back to the other point that I was trying to make is it just that people aren't that into coasters? And are they not into coasters because there just aren't any coasters?
I think that Montana's very spread out. So and Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, they're all like relatively large states. So
Yes, but if people were interested in coasters, then there would be a reason to build a park for them to drive to.
but the thing is, people don't like, even around here, around where I live, people don't travel far for roller coaster. They go to
No,
like the local theme
we
park.
don't. The people that live in Montana probably drive an hour to get to a Target.
Yeah,
Wait,
maybe.
you're telling me that
Yeah, but
there's
that's an
Targets all
essential.
over Montana.
That's an essential need, really. I mean, you kind of have to. You're kind of forced. I don't know if people are like, even if they're interested in coasters, I don't know if they're going to be like, hey, let's drive 5 hours over to whatever park, like
James,
Six Flags,
I
Montana.
guarantee you, people in Montana drive. Some people in Montana drive more than an hour
Oh, yes,
to get
Bob.
groceries.
Yes, but you didn't hear what I just said. I said 5 hours. Because if we're talking like, if it's
I
like,
know,
I don't think they would do that.
but
I don't
they're
think that's.
used to driving.
They're used to driving, but not, yeah, like an hour, not five. Still, 5 hours is incredibly extensive. Like if let's just say you're in the middle of Montana and then you're like, oh, let's go to like, let's just say the park is being built in the middle of the two borders, so it's like right in between North Dakota and Montana. It's a Carowinds. Let's just say it's in split in half. Half of it's in North Dakota, half of it's in Montana, and they're driving over there. That's still like a 5 or 6 hour drive just to get there. I mean, at that point, if you're in the middle of Montana, that far drive, you might even, Silverwood's probably just as close. So, or even if you're in the middle of North Dakota, then Minnesota's close as well. So I mean,
All right, let's put it. I bet you it's longer than 5 hours to get to. All right, let's go with Sydney.
Okay, irregardless of whether or not.
So Sydney, Montana. Let's find out how long it takes someone. So we're going to say Silverwood.
Okay. We say Silverwood.
Silverwood Theme Park in Idaho.
It might be longer than 5 hours, but
it's going to be longer than 5 hours. So
I just
Sydney,
made 5 hours up on the top of my head. But again, I don't.
Sydney, Montana.
I don't think the point is that.
You're way off. 12 hours or 11 and a half hours.
Where exactly is Sydney?
11.
I'm not seeing Sydney on here.
It's on the border. It's on the border of.
Oh, I'm not. You didn't hear what I said then. I said the middle of Montana. So I was talking about if you're in the middle of Montana and you have to drive a long distance to get to this park, which is where they'd be drawing a lot of their clientele in. They could have to come long distances from like the middle of Montana. A lot of their people would be coming from like that area and then the middle of North Dakota. At that point, if you're in the middle of Montana and you're driving over to North or over to like
yeah, but you're forgetting about all those people on the eastern side of Montana and the western side of North Dakota.
But that's the thing. That's my initial argument, Bob, is that there's not enough people in those two areas to make up a big theme park audience. So and then at that point they'd be drawing on. They need the people from the middle of the two states to come, but those people might be like, screw it, let's just go to Silverwood, or let's just go to like it's not going to be as big of an incentive. I just don't think it's. I think that's the reasoning behind this. I don't think it's not. Oh,
it could be.
I don't think it's like a.
Is there an interest?
I don't think that's.
Is there even an interest?
I don't think that's it. There's an interest for these all, as you can tell, all across the world, all across the U.S. There's parks everywhere, even if it's like not relatively close. There are some areas where they're not really close, but there's still parks everywhere, and there's still parks throughout. Every country in the world.
You're telling me people that live in Sydney, Montana, there's tons of coaster enthusiasts in Sydney, Montana.
That's not the argument at all, Bob, because we know for a fact that coaster enthusiasts don't make up any even close to the percentage of employees.
No, I understand that. But, okay, people that enjoy coasters. Do you think there's a lot of people that enjoy coasters?
I guarantee
you the majority of people in that area have not even rode coasters.
So what? But that doesn't mean they wouldn't go to a park if it was somewhat close to them. It's not like, oh, I don't like roller coaster. I'm never going to go to a theme park now. That's the thing. Half the people that go to theme parks don't really love. Some of them don't even enjoy roller coasters per se or theme parks. They just go because it's something fun to do with their families. That's pretty much, I'd say, a vast majority of the people going to theme parks. It's not like, oh, I love roller coasters. I mean, I know parents of my friends don't like parks really. They don't enjoy, but they go with their kids because that's part of the fun. Like that's just a family thing to do.
Yeah, certainly. So that's a thing that we've grown up with here. Those people haven't grown up with those. So could you even attract? My point is, The point I'm
Oh
trying to
man.
make
Oh
is
man.
you keep saying population, which I'm not arguing that population isn't part of it. But I think there's also a bigger issue of people that aren't exposed to coasters
No.
and theme parks that wouldn't even, they're like, what is this? We don't even know. Like, we've never experienced such a thing.
No, I don't think
We're
that's at
not
all.
interested.
No. They know it.
Why? Because you like.
No, that's not what I'm. That's just not the case. It's the same reason.
How do you know that's not the case?
How do you know it is I mean, it's just like a hypothesis that you're making up that these people just don't care about roller coasters and they wouldn't. Just like I'm
And
sure these
you're
people.
making up.
It's a recreational
You're
activity to do.
you're
Just like these people
and
probably go camping and these people
you're
go do like this. Just an activity to do, and they would go to a theme park if it
your
was there.
hypothesis. You
It's
have
just
no
human
you have no
nature.
proof
It's
that
just
people.
human nature. It's
You
not
have
even.
you have no proof that
You
people aren't building parks there because there's no population.
you have no proof that it's because of this hypothesis of
I
like,
didn't say I
oh,
had proof.
I'm not saying that.
I
That is
did.
100%
never
more.
said.
I think
I
100.
never said I had proof.
All right, screw it. This is
I
the weekly
never
poll for
once
this
said
week. This is the weekly poll for this week, guys. Why are there not
No,
being
hold
parks
up.
built? I mean, because like I can't. It's just logic. Like that's why parks are built. They're built in highly populated,
And I never
dense
said.
areas.
I never said that. I never said that that's not a contributing factor.
It's
But
the
you're
main
completely
factor. No,
discounting.
but the thing is, no,
You
I'm,
want to believe. No, you want to believe that absolutely everybody in the United States would go to a theme park if they had
no,
access.
I don't want to argue that. I don't want to argue that. But I'm saying that a majority, I'm sure it would if they were given the opportunity to.
Then
It's not like it's not
why-
like oh, this theme park's built now. I don't really I don't like theme parks just because I've never been to one, so I'm not going to go to one now. Like it's just that's
And there, I guarantee you, there's a lot of people there. I think that's part of the issue.
I don't. I just I.
But
the thing is, you didn't say- you said it was- you just said it was a contributing.
A possible issue.
You just said it was a contributing factor, so you kind of went back because you literally your original statement was it's the main factor. You said it was like I don't remember the exact word. You said it was like the biggest factor was that there's like this mindset built up, and that's definitely not the major reason. I don't think anybody would like. That's not the reason. Is there's literally no one in that vicinity of this country. Like there's probably less than 1 million people in that one area that we're talking
I'm
about.
playing devil's advocate to what you're saying about population. I'm not saying that it's not a contributing factor. Of course, you're not gonna if you build a park in, eastern Montana, you're not going to get the number of people in that park as you would like around here, like Carowinds. And
No, and
yes, that's that's pretty close to a fact. But I don't think that that's the sole reason because people will drive to experience entertainment. But the problem is if you have somebody that doesn't really know what an amusement park is, they haven't really experienced it. If like families just like stay in just the same area, they've never went out to an amusement park. Like nobody knows what it is. It's just not a thing that they do.
It's not, but
You're telling me that is not a contributing
some
factor.
of the parks around here didn't open until like my parents were like.
You did not answer. James, we have parks on the East Coast that opened in the 1800s.
But I'm talking about like my parents in particular, which is not. I mean, obviously not. This doesn't account for everybody. I'm just using my parents as an example. They didn't go to parks like my grandparents didn't go to parks, but they still took them when Kings Dominion and Busch Gardens opened up in the 70s. They took them to Busch Gardens and Kings Dominion because hey, it's something to do. It's fun. Let's go do it. That's how it works. That's not like oh, it's scary. It's a theme park. We've never been to one before.
There were people around that had experienced parks. I mean, you're talking about an area where there is probably nobody, very, very few people. Like 5% of the people in that area may have ever experienced a park in their life once.
But what is the incentive to not
And
get?
you're
Like,
telling
what is
me,
the
you're
reason?
telling me that is
You're
not.
saying that the basic principle, the basic reason for them to not go to a park is just because they've never been to one before. That's just that's like saying they wouldn't go to a new restaurant because they've never been to a new restaurant
always
before.
get out of their comfort zone, especially if they can't talk to anybody that they know that can say, like, if I met somebody on the street in this area that had never been to an amusement park, I can explain to them. But like, if you're in an area where there's not many people that have been to amusement parks, how are you going to get any kind of buzz built about that?
Because I mean, it's just like camping
Answer
or
the question.
fishing.
How?
How? Because you're going
But
advertising, marketing, PR. I mean,
you're
parks will do that, and then
well,
people will go,
camping
"That looks
doesn't
fun."
have PR.
No, but I mean, it's just a fun activity. It's just basic principle of it's fun. Everyone knows. I mean, not everyone enjoys camping actually either, but still, I mean, it's. I mean, some people and some camping resorts do have actually PR and marketing. So I mean, it just depends on like if it's a state park or if it's like a corporate owned resort. But
You don't need big machines to go camping or go fishing.
well, you might
That's
for
a
fishing.
wilderness activity.
You might for fishing, depending on what kind of fishing. But
I'm talking like when you're talking about camping, fishing, like
okay,
sport, like you don't. I mean, yes, you need rods, and those can get expensive, but you're not going to buy hundreds of dollars worth of equipment until you know you like it.
no, and you don't. I mean, I would assume if a park opened up out in the middle of Montana, North Dakota, it would be somewhat of a small park. It would probably be pretty cheap to get in. It probably
No,
would
it
go
would have
under.
to
It would
be.
go under because there's nobody in that vicinity. I don't think a lot of people would end up going there, but I think the people around would definitely go. Let's check it out. It seems fun. Let's go do something with our family. I just think that's how humans react to fun activities that are new and exciting, especially if there's good PR and marketing. There's going to be, oh, this looks fun. I'm sure they'd go, oh, look, come and bring your family and have some fun. We get some good old fashioned, I don't know what kind of, I don't even know what Montana, like what kind of, if it's like Southern food, I don't even know what the kind of, like, oh, we have some good Montana style cooking or whatever, or North Dakota style cooking, whatever I don't even know what their traditions and customs are up there, but they would advertise to that and they would get people to come. I know. It probably wouldn't be enough still because I don't think there's enough people in that area, but I don't think there's like this, oh, we're not going there because we've never been there before kind of attitude. I think most humans, irregardless of where they're located at, I don't think like anywhere in the country this can apply or anywhere in the world really, they're going to go if it looks fun and they want to take their kids, they want to take their family, they want to do something like this. I just think that's
But
human nature
what
almost.
makes it look fun to them, though? They don't really know what.
The marketing,
mean-
Bob. That's what marketing does. I'm not trying to be like a jerk. That's like the. I'm actually like that's the point. I'm being sincere. Like that is, let's show children and let's show, or like if they see there's a high population of elders, like let's show elder people having, like I don't know what the population looks like. I don't know what any of that looks like in Montana. I can't or in this area of the country, but they would market to it and they would find their audience that they need to draw, and they would
So
get the people
you're
in that
telling me
area
that
to come.
You're telling me that everybody within a day trip would actually, they'd be very interested in going and trying it out.
No, I'm not saying that, but I think a good majority of them would consider it and would go and check it out. I don't think
See,
everybody.
I don't think I'm not nearly that optimistic.
I just think that's how it would work. Especially like I think it's almost the reason you're saying it's almost a bad idea or like it wouldn't work is because of that mindset. I think it might be the opposite. They've never been to a theme park. They might be like, that's interesting. Let's check it. We never had one in this area. Let's go check it out now. We've never seen anything like this. Is really cool. They've heard about theme parks before. I know for a fact. They've probably had relatives or family from other places, or they've had somebody mention big cool theme parks, and they're like, "Oh, this sounds interesting." Like, there's no way that some of these people, I know, probably a vast majority of them at least know what roller coasters and theme parks are, and they know that they're cool and exciting, and people love them. So it's not like this, like, oh, like the dark age. Oh my God, we've never seen that. What is this mechanical contraption? Like,
I'm not saying that they have no clue. I'm just saying that they don't have a concept of the fun of it. It'd be more like,
I feel like the name itself, amusement, kind of just conveys that already.
I mean,
it's just I don't know. It's just based on. I mean, it definitely.
You can call anything amusement. You can call this podcast amusement, but some people probably think it's torture. I don't know.
Oh man, torture talk. I swear we get hung up and we talk about the dumbest stuff on the show. Like this is like a topic that most people would spend 5 minutes tops talking on, and we spent like 30 minutes.
The sad part is I've already had this argument on social media.
Oh my gosh!
I think it was on Reddit somewhere. Oh
man,
yeah, this came up.
Man,
definitely.
Oh, coaster enthusiasts.
And I think that's the thing is I mean, population is an issue. What I'm saying is that now this I think there is a little bit of a there's a kind of an area where I don't think we're each covering. Now you're saying about population. If you go just on a population basis, you could probably, like, wherever that park is, you could draw a circle maybe 3 hours around that you could draw people in. But the thing is I think that the basis, what you're saying about, oh, people will want to check it out, I guarantee you that mentality would happen within the half hour mark. Like if you're a half hour from that park.
You just now
But
that's
when you
kind of
start getting
that's kind of counterintuitive to your point then, because you said that these people drive for hours, so they're used to it. So
Well, no,
why
yes.
would they not? Why would the
No,
people from hours away not
when
want to
I'm
drive?
on a sole population. But what I'm saying is, okay, maybe it might be a little bit longer than a half hour. But what I'm saying is, if you take the mentality of, like, on the East Coast, when people say, you know, I really like that park, I want to go check out another park, like the distance that people will drive, I don't think you're going to have that. Like, I don't know how to put it. Like, you're not in that distance. You're
No.
not going to have the people just say, "Oh, let's just go check it out."
No, I agree. And
Because
that's why I
I'm
said people
curious.
that are further away in Montana aren't gonna. They might even just say, "Screw it, let's go to Silverwood," because like the people like in the middle of Montana, almost, which I feel like might be.
See, if you took, let's put it this way, and maybe I can get my point across a little bit more. If you took if you picked everybody up out of the state of Pennsylvania and you dropped them in Montana, and we're talking just, you know, like there's no parks around, the distance you would pull people into a park, if you put it like right on the border of Montana and North Dakota, you would pull people from a much greater distance.
Well,
because they want to go to a park, they want to experience another park because they know what parks are.
That might
like
not be true in terms of. That might not be true. I think it might be that way. You might get more people coming because, again, there's a greater population in Pennsylvania. So even if not as many people are truly coming from those long distances,
forget the just humor me for a second. Forget the population issue.
So forget my main point.
Okay. Let's say all of the people in Montana have the brains of somebody from Pennsylvania that have been exposed to people that regularly go to amusement parks, okay? In that scenario,
so you're
you
saying
would have people.
It's the same population though in Montana, like the same.
It's the same population.
All right,
Same population
all right,
Montana and North Dakota currently have. But they have the thoughts and brain, like the mentality of Pennsylvanians or East Coasters.
Let's just say that everyone. Let's make this more simply.
Let me finish.
Let's make it simpler.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
There's a lot easier way to say that. You could have said that a lot easier way though.
All those people know people that have been to parks. They've been to parks. They would travel further distances to experience a new park than what the people currently in Montana and North Dakota would, because they don't know what to expect. Certainly in closer distances, you'd have people.
I don't know if it's not.
I don't think you draw them.
I don't think it's because they don't know what to expect more than they're just like, that's too far. We don't really want to go. Like, it's not worth it almost. Like, even if it's fun, like, it's just too much of a drive almost.
Well, I think now would also be a good time to say that, like, neither James and I have the mentality of Montanans and North Dakotans.
Watch just the entire state of Montana listen to this and go, this is bullcrap, man. They're completely
and it probably
wrong.
is. It probably is. But if you're from Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming, South Dakota,
anywhere, yeah,
please email us.
God, please, james@koshertalkpodcast.com or bob@koshertalkpodcast.com. Let us know what the general consensus is.
I think that's the thing. Like, you really don't. Like, if you go on Reddit, and I mean, even people I talk to on Twitter, it's East Coast or California. You rarely see people from anywhere else. Well, I shouldn't say. You see people like Midwest, like Indiana, and like that area, but you don't see people from, you know, a lot of other areas. And that's what makes me think, like, there's just not, you don't have that buzz. So I think that may be a much bigger thing preventing parks from being built there than you think it is. Certainly population is an aspect of it, but I
We came to a lot
I
more of
don't see
a,
people.
I don't know. We've come down some. We're not as upset. We're not as angry. We're calming down some here.
James is no longer like glaring at me and
Yeah, I'm
in
not
Discord.
not that point anymore. I don't know. I definitely can somewhat agree with what you're trying to say. I think I understand what you're trying to say. I don't think I 100% agree with it. But I understand that. Yeah, I don't think people from great distances would travel. Maybe it's because of that mindset. I think some of them might have that mindset, but I think the majority would just go, it's just too hard of a drive, period. Like, we just don't want to travel, irregardless of what it is, even if they'd somehow moved Cedar Point to the middle of Montana.
See, and
Like, I
I
don't.
don't think I think the driving issue isn't so much like what you think. Like we are so used to driving short distances to get stuff. Like there's times where I'm like, I don't want to go to Target. It's like the whole way like on the other side of the interstate, which is literally my like Target's
Uh,
like 5 minutes from my apartment, and like there's times where I don't feel like driving that. But
but
like
I'm not saying, like, I understand. We have. I mean, I know, Virginia has country. I've been in the country of Virginia. I have family located in some country areas of Virginia. So I wouldn't say that that's my mindset. Most definitely, I would just say that, like, I'm talking about people that would have to travel far distances, like, in just relatively, like, we just know as basic principle they're far distances, like somewhat middle of Montana. Those people in somewhat middle of North Dakota, even like on the closer side to the park, is still going to be maybe like 2 3 hours, which is maybe to them not as bad, but still it is like a drive that, it's almost like a day trip. Like, you have to do an entire, like, the people that are really close are going to be like, let's just go do it real quick, check it out, look at what's going on. But you're going to have to really commit to this drive, to this trip, if you're somewhat further away, even a couple hours, 3 hours away. Like, when we go to Carowinds 4 hours away from my house,
yeah, I
but
don't
that's
think.
still
But
like a
see,
day
here's the
trip.
difference though. When you and I go to a park, it's like let's get there as soon as possible, and we're staying until the absolute we're staying until they kick us out of the park.
I
I don't
know,
think
it's not the
the same
same,
mentality would be there.
but still,
And like
the drive itself
I
is a
just
day trip, though. Like, the 3 hours there and the 3 hours back is a 6 hour trip right there. So most people are going to have to find lodging, and that's just like, that's where it becomes kind of almost like, it's not just a little recreational visit to it. Like, that's why the having such a large population so close to you is important, because that majority, that huge group of people, can access it
sure.
driving like 15 20 minutes. But then when you get like to Montana, you have to like have the same amount of people. Would be like, let's go out, like you said, like hours and hours out to get the same amount of people that you have in this small little area in DC. It's just,
Yes, I think maybe it's more of an issue of like it's not that it wouldn't work, it's that somebody that's going to invest the money says, "Oh, we can make more money if we go here." It's
exactly,
not
that's
that they
exactly what
can't
it
make
is.
money here, it's just they want more money. But
I think a
I
small,
really think that a bigger barrier of issue is just generating a buzz and an interest. I just have this feeling that there's a lot more people there that just they just wouldn't
if we're gonna
even
I'm gonna do a
eh.
hypothetical here. If we could like somehow get like a snow shovel and like plow all these people to like a little bit of an area, like we could just get a snow shovel and pile them up Montana, and then pile up North Dakota, and get them all in like somewhat of a close area. I'm not even gonna say like all together like a big city, but like within like 2 or 3 hours driving distance, they're all in that area, and then you put a park there in the middle of it. I think it would do great. I don't think any of the mindset of, oh, it's new, we haven't done it before. I think all of that would just be like, all right, let's
See,
just go check out this park.
I'm not as certain.
I'm certain of
I
that.
don't know.
So
I,
that's just where we differ,
I
I
don't
guess.
know. But see, like that's the I think that's the thing is like it's like people just I don't know. I'm trying to think like outside of my own. Like certainly if there are people like me, yes, but
But
I
again, I
just
don't
know
think it
so many
has to be
people that
like
are like
coast. It doesn't have to be coast. It has to even people
no,
that like.
that's not what I'm.
It doesn't.
That's
I
not
know.
what
I
I'm
know. It
saying.
doesn't even have to be coast people that.
All right, let's say my sister. My sister loves amusement parks. She's not an enthusiast, but she loves them.
I'm saying even people that don't love them necessarily. Like I know many people that go to parks that don't love them. That and it doesn't even matter if they know people or doesn't. They just don't really like them. They would still go with their kids and with their families, and I think that's just what people in Montana and in North Dakota would do because, as we've looked and stated, there's not much to do. And like I don't know what recreational. I don't think there's much like yeah, you can go to a lake, but there's not much like commercial. There's not big cities to travel to and do fun activities at. Like you can go to New York City. Some people do that instead of going to a theme park. Some people go to Philadelphia and check out historical. There's not like that much stuff to do in this area, so that would be a major draw for people. Oh, we don't have this big family venue to go to like a city or like a huge resort. Like there might be some resorts, but still, it's not like they're probably not the same size as like the ones we have here. That's just like that's not that commercial activity in these areas. So it's like if something like that did open up, I think it would gain traction like that. I think that would just be many people's reaction. Like, all right, let's do something fun with the kids. Let's go up to the park they just opened up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not as convinced. I'm not as convinced of that.
All right, that's just where you gotta draw the line, I guess.
I'm not saying I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is based on like a psychological thing. If you, really, it's I think the main factor though. Can we at least maybe come to an agreement on that? The main factor of why there's not parks in these areas is because there's like such a weird difference in population throughout these areas, and there's not enough people to draw in. Can we at least somewhat agree on that? And then maybe the mindset's like a secondary, like, yeah, if you built one still. I feel like that's kind of the order of things here. Can we maybe agree on that or no?
See, I think it's inversed. I think both are valid points, but I think I think interest is a bigger issue than population. But both are important points.
All right. Well,
I don't know.
I can't agree to that at all. So because I don't even.
Well, I will say this. I've talked to a couple people that have said, you know what, you and James, like you've been agreeing too much recently. You haven't really been debating much and arguing.
There we go.
Well, this episode is for you.
This one's for you guys out there, all the loyal fans that remember the days of the floorless conversion arguments and all that great subject matter.
Which we still don't agree on.
No. I still make fun of Bob for it, and he still gets mad at me. So, all right.
I don't care.
Yeah, he doesn't really care, as you guys can tell. We're going to talk about some park entrances. Excuse me, theme park entrances now, and what are the favorites of our audience, and what are the favorites of our own? We have quite a few to discuss because we got quite a few responses. Our first response was Six Flags Great America, and they said they love the way that you enter, and they have that like somewhat. I think it's the carousel. So yeah, the carousel. They just said the ride, but I think it's a carousel. Is that what it is at Great America?
I
can't remember.
Been to Great America.
I believe it's Great America that has like the big double carousel. So if that's right, I think that's the one. Yeah, I think they said
I think I remember somebody mentioning that.
It's Great America. I'm pretty confident. So someone, yeah, that's it. So you enter into this double carousel, and they just said like this main ride that kind of highlights the park. So it's the carousel, and you enter through, and it's just there's like a body of water there, I believe. I'm trying to off memory remember. I think it's a fountain. It might be a lake. I don't know, but there's some somewhat nice sized body of water. So it's a pretty entrance, I believe, based on what I remember. I remember thinking, oh, that's pretty cool. It looks pretty traditional because it's like an older double carousel. So it kind of gives off traditional park vibes. Someone said,
Pam just said in the live chat that it was the double carousel.
Double carousel. Yep, that's good memory there. Someone said Disney's Magic Kingdom, and it's solely because I have so much nostalgic visits to the park. So every time he enters to the park, I assume he gets some nostalgia. So that's why he likes that entrance so much.
Yeah, everywhere you go in Disney, it just has a great atmosphere. So
yeah, true. And I think we all have that park that might not actually be the best entrance, but like I have so much like King's Dominion's entrance kind of sucks, but I have a lot of memories there that it's kind of like I kind of like every time I walk up to it, I'm like like I remember each and every kind of typical day that I had walking through those gates. So like I remember certain days where I'm like I was happy, and some days some days I wasn't happy, but I was at the park, you know. So like I just remember. It's weird, but like I can remember the feelings I felt walking up to the gate, and it's just like there is that nostalgic vibe that parks that you go to a lot give off.
Yeah, there's certainly. I mean, of course, my big one is closed, so
Yeah.
If I was able to still walk into Geauga Lake and have that oil pump or the oil well like right off to the left in the parking lot, in the middle of the parking lot, and then like trying to cross the street and not get hit by a car. Yeah, those are my memories of Geauga Lake. Actually, I have a ton of memories of Geauga Lake, but
I was about to say, is
that's
that
my
it? That's all
nostalgia.
you remember? Everything else after that is a blur.
Well, I mean, there's, you know, nearly get hit by a car, like things
Yeah,
kind of like
maybe.
burn into your memory.
Everything else is just like I don't know what's going on. I'm
There
in
was a
shock.
traffic light. It's just people just always, yeah, it was like, yeah, whatever, we're just walking, or like, yeah, it turned into chaos sometimes.
All right, someone said I really like Kennywood's. It's really cool how you enter and then have to go under the street.
See,
Yeah.
they went under the street, not like Geauga Lake, where they're like, no, screw it, we'll just walk across and just
Yeah,
dodge traffic.
it's part of the fun. It gets your adrenaline pump, and then you're looking forward to some roller coasters.
Although I actually have to say, I do remember Kennywood when you didn't have to go through that tunnel. When
yeah.
it was actually Lost Kennywood was the parking lot, and you walked under. Actually, it was Laser Loop at the time.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
I think it was like. I think you walked right under Laser Loop. I don't know that for sure, but I think. Don't quote me on this, but I feel like the entrance to Lost Kennywood was like the entrance to the park at that time. Like, of course, coming from the other side.
Yeah,
but I think that's how it was. Because Laser Loop went. Well, yeah, Laser Loop was the same station as Still Phantom's Revenge. So Laser Loop would have gone. Yeah, so I think you walked under it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I was
I
real
believe
little then.
I recall that as well, like hearing about that. I obviously wasn't at the park then, so
I
would have been
like
negative 20. So
yeah,
that would have been impressive in itself. If I'm just like a little zygote walking around Kennywood.
You have memories of Laser Loop at Kennywood.
Yeah, I was like a little zygote walking around. Like I haven't actually been. I wouldn't even be a zygote. Actually, I'm not even gonna get into that. All right. Well, someone else said Maurice Piers. Never been there, so I don't know. But they said the immersion of it on the 2 of the 3 piers is unmatched. So I guess you're walking up and it's like
watch the tram car, please. Watch the tram car, please. That's my memories. That's Maurice. That's Wildwood, New Jersey to me. That tram car.
Never been there.
I'm so glad they built a roller coaster after it. Like that was the when they made that announcement, you have no idea how excited I was. I want to go ride that so much just because.
I need to get to Maurice Piers. I need to get up to that boardwalk parks stuff in New Jersey. I really do. So yep,
it's a really cool boardwalk.
Someone said either. I don't know why I just stopped.
Did they?
They said either. They just said either.
Why I did either.
They just said either, and then they're done.
Where are we cutting?
Just right where it was. 116.
All right, I'm gonna cut like a second off.
You're gonna be like, wait, it doesn't even matter. Even if I tell you where to cut.
How'd I get ahead of you? You were like way ahead of me. Now oh wait. Yeah. Oh, 16. Oh, okay. I'm like at 117.
Somehow you caught up.
All right, I'll cut it 116.57.
All right.
Ah, what was that?
Joe.
Don't mess with me, Audacity. All right, 3, 2, 1. Are you ready?
No, I was not ready. I did
Or-
not know that was happening.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready now.
I. All right. 3, 2.
Cedar
Wait. Hold on a
Point.
second.
Oh my
Wait.
God, you
Wait.
killed me.
Wait. Hold on. As soon as I did that, my
No
Audacity
excuses. Whenever
icon.
I do it, you're like, nah.
I don't know why my Audacity icon.
Someone
jumped, so
said
try to
either.
tell me. I don't know. Looks okay. What? All right. Whatever. 3, 2.
Cedar Point with Gatekeeper, Carowinds with Fury, or Busch Gardens Williamsburg with England. So interesting choices. I think all three of those are great entrances, actually. I think they're different, though. They're different in how they, like, well, Cedar Points and Carowinds are very, we have this big attraction. Look, it's going over top of you. It's awesome. In your face. Thrill rides. Awesome. Busch Gardens Williamsburg, though, is definitely one that I didn't really think of, but now that I actually contemplate that, I think its entrance is actually really good. And it depends on what you really count as entrance. Like, if we're just kind of the front gate plaza, or if we're counting, like, the build up to it, and then, like, the actual, like, plaza, and, like, when you enter the actual park, that little area, that counts. Because I think Busch Gardens Williamsburg does actually have a really good entrance there. You really get totally immersed. Like, that's just, like, right off the bat, you're just like, you're in England. So if you count, like, the actual little bit of pathways up from the park entrance, I think Busch Gardens Williamsburg does a great job. And I know they do count England as, like, their entrance area of the park. Like, that's always the area of the park that closes last. They have, like, all their rides, all their shops and restaurants open a little later, normally during normal operations. So yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't think of that, but it's actually, I think, a good choice.
It's. I kind of like that it's wooded. Like, not inside, but like as you're walking
Yeah,
to the gate and stuff. Like it's kind of wooded, and
it
I
just
don't know.
feels
It's
like you're
kind of a
almost
nice
entering another.
environment.
Yeah, it feels like Busch Gardens Williamsburg is the only park that I have been to yet. I know there's other great theme parks, but in terms of, like, theme park, it's the only park that truly captures, like, its intent. Like, it's truly supposed to make you feel like you're in Europe, and it really does that really well. And I think that's one of the only parts I've been to where it's like, I feel like the entire time I'm at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, I'm in another. Like, I don't feel like I'm in a park almost. I don't feel like I'm in the United States. I feel like I'm in Europe, which is crazy to think, because I understand psychologically, I understand literally, physically, logically, I'm not. But, like, it's just like this is almost become ingrained in my mind the multiple trips I've been there, and someone has been there for the first time, I'm sure, even, it's just like, wow, wait, this is real deal. This isn't just like, we're in England now, the Big Ben tower. Like, that's not like, if there's a Big Ben themed ride. No, there's actually, like, a Big Ben replica. Like, it's not as big, but it's like, it's the same, like, idea, and they have, like, the English cottages, and, like, there's everything's so well done. So I don't know, it just creates a layer of immersion. It's definitely not like in your face awesome entrance like Carowinds or Cedar Point, where it's like big roller coaster thrill attraction, awesome, but it's definitely cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll buy that. I don't know. I don't know if I just I don't know.
Are you ready for
I
round
never
two,
really
Bob?
felt
I'm
like
just
the
kidding.
full immersion. Yeah, I never really felt the immersion. Yeah, round two.
No.
Ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
I don't know. Like yeah, it really looks like it, but I never really like felt like that whole like, oh, I've been transported.
Oh my gosh.
Um, I don't know. And
All right, we got to move on real quick,
I don't
Bob,
know. Maybe
because
yeah. All right. Let's let.
I just read something
Hey,
that you're gonna love. They're gonna love
uh-oh.
this response,
Uh-oh.
because like, we have to move on, not because I'm trying to cut you off. Like, I want you, but I just read this, and you're gonna love this. Someone said, I love King's Dominions because I love the fact, or I love walking up and being reminded that Volcano is not there anymore.
Yep.
So
King's Dominion.
that's their favorite entrance, because they get reminded
Once.
of the sad
It's
times.
torture, man. Like it hurts.
Yeah.
What's really bad is walking into like the Congo.
Oh yeah. Walking up where they used to have the volcano sign, you can still see, like, the outline of it, because it's, like, been faded into it somewhat.
I wonder if they got rid of that thing.
I would imagine so. If not, they revamped it and are gonna put the new SNS Free Spin name there. Because I
Oh,
mean, that
that's right. But like next time we're there, it's gonna be like
that's so weird. It's gonna be so different.
oh my God.
All right. Well,
But the weird thing is the new coaster isn't even going to be involved. Like it's like we're going in and we're going to lose another ride to get this new coaster. It's like the new coaster's on the other side of where we lost a coaster. Like it's just bizarre.
it's weird. It's definitely weird. Someone said Six Flags Over Georgia. Walking up the entrance, though they said it's better than Cedar Point or Carowinds for this reason, because walking up to the entrance and also while driving to the parking lot, you pass underneath Goliath, which I agree is really, really, really awesome. It's like, it literally is the definition of a parking lot coaster because it's like it goes over the parking lot somewhat, and it goes through the road that you're going to the parking lot. Like it goes over it. You're driving underneath it. Like I don't know of any other coaster, at least that I've been on, that you like drive underneath it. Am I missing something big here, or is that like that's one of the only ones you're actually like physically driving underneath it, and then you actually walk up like through the? I know there are other coasters that you walk underneath, but I can't think of one.
You drive under Ravine Flyer 2 on a highway.
Yeah, I haven't been there, so
it's like
you drive over it or
it's
under
on
it?
Under it. So like the coaster actually goes over top, but like this has nothing to do with going to the park. It's just the highway.
Oh,
it
okay.
actually crosses the highway.
I got you. Yeah, that makes more sense. And even that's like, it's not noticeable. With Goliath, it's like literally the supports are coming down like in the parking lot. So you're like driving right, and you're like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. So, I think that's really. I don't know. I mean that it definitely is the entrance. The entrance itself is kind of nice, but that really does add to like that. Like if that wasn't there, it wouldn't really be that great. But Goliath being there definitely was like really awesome and epic to like walk. I mean, I was literally getting footage for, like normally when I go to park sites, like walk to the coaster and then set up and get some good footage. I was getting footage in the parking lot. I was just sitting in the parking lot getting some cool footage. I mean, Goliath goes over. It's not even in the park for part of the ride. You're like over towards the entrance of like the actual parking lot. So it's pretty cool. I agree.
Now you just got my mind going, like thinking of every coaster and like, are there any other roller coasters?
I'm definitely someone's gonna write us and go, "You missed this big one right here." I'm sure there's something I've missed. I can't think. Of one. I can't think of one though, like that you go under like that. I don't know. There definitely is 100%. I don't disagree, but I'm not gonna make the statement that there's not one. I just can't remember one. That's my statement. All right. I'm saving myself from the hate, from the backlash. Someone said Carowinds again. Walking Under Fury is awesome, and the newly built entrance is beautiful. So yeah, I think it's really modern. I think it's really nice, and then obviously going Under Fury is really cool.
Wait, you go over Fury? I guess you go under it too. Wait,
you go over and under.
Yeah. All I remember that entrance is that tunnel, like how it goes under, and the lights are in that tunnel for the coaster.
Yeah, for the high dive. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you get there, it has to go over too. I guess I was just so mesmerized by the lights in the tunnel that I didn't even look up.
I don't know. All right, someone said Cedar Point. It perfectly fits the atmosphere of the park, and it just looks amazing. And I agree. I think that's true. It like truly does fit like it fits like the target of what they're trying to convey. Like we are a thrill park. Look at us. Look at like you walk in and you're like, look, this big massive roller coaster is going over our like this is our statement to everybody that's coming in. Look, we have this huge roller coaster. We are the coaster capital of the world. So I agree. That's a good point.
It's a fun entrance. That's all I really have to say about that.
That is the least Bob has ever talked about a certain topic before in his life. Choose two words, right? No, 3, 4, whatever. I can't be doing math right now. As we stated earlier, we're too tired for this, and trying to count words on the fly like that is not a good choice. Someone said again, 100% Cedar Point. You can't beat coasters going over top of you, and you can't beat coasters on the lake. So I guess they might be counting like the walk up. You see all the coasters on the lake, kind of, somewhat. I don't know.
No, I mean, yeah, but at some point you have to like take into account the seagulls that you have to like duck from and like hope to God they're not going to attack you. And I mean,
it's like Birds, that Alfred Hitchcock movie where they're all like trying to attack you.
mine.
You can do that too, yeah. That's all you had to say.
James.
That was totally you. You were still like that wasn't a complete thought.
It was.
No, it wasn't, Bob.
You're like, we have to hurry. See? When I don't talk, I get yelled at. When I talk too much, I get yelled at. What the heck?
Wait, hold up. I need to find. I think we got another response. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Oh my gosh, where's it at? All right, I think here it is. Ah,
What?
you're killing me, Bob.
What? What'd I do?
I need to find this response, and I can't. No,
How's that my fault?
because you're Bob.
Okay.
Yeah, that's your burden. All right, there we go. I knew it was a Europe park. Okay, all right, you ready?
Are you ready?
You might actually want to look
Wait,
this
where are
one
we
up
cutting at?
because I actually kind of want you to see this because you don't know Europe
Well,
parks.
first, where are we cutting at?
126.004. They actually did this correctly too because
What? 126.04.
that's where I'm at. But you're probably like
No.
a minute ahead of me or something.
Can't.
I think it looks so cool actually. That might be my. That's a really cool entrance. That's just like the
All right,
structure
I'm
they got
doing
you
it.
through. So,
I'm hitting 126.14.
all right, I'll send you a picture real quick.
Yeah, send me.
It's pretty
Or
dang cool.
link.
Europe gets all these cool stuff, man. This is really cool.
Europe gets all kinds of cool stuff.
It looks just like so like primordial. It looks like I don't know. It looks like I can't
It
even
looks
describe.
primordial.
It looks kind of primordial. Like it just looks like haunting or like daunt. I don't even know the right adjective to describe. It's just so weird, but it's so cool at the same time.
Good lord.
I know.
Where is that?
It's Efteling. That's in the Netherlands.
That's probably the one I almost went to. I was like, when I was over there, I thought about going to an amusement park, but then I like didn't have time. I wasn't like I wasn't back into coaster enthusiast mode, and I was like, I don't know where any of that, so I didn't.
Wow.
I'm actually kind of glad though. Like I did a lot of cool things, like visit the Anne Frank house and.
See, I don't care about any of that stuff. Like I love history, but I don't really know if I would. I'm gonna do some historical stuff, but I'm mainly my park trip is what I want to do. Yeah, it's in the Netherlands.
I found it a lot of fun.
I love history too, but I would visit Anne Frank's house and I would visit all those places. But I'm also going to be doing a lot of parks. All right, you ready?
Yep. Well, remember it was a working trip too, so that was the big thing.
Okay.
If it wasn't a working trip, I probably would have done it. I just had one day, and I was like, nah, I'd rather do these few things rather than try to find a park. And
You went to Anne Frank's house. That's in Germany, though.
It's in Amsterdam.
I might have been lied to.
Dude, I was there. Don't tell me. I'm like I was freaking there. Don't argue with me.
I always thought she was in Germany. I always thought she lived in Germany. Why would they? In Amsterdam wasn't. I guess they were occupied by the Germans. And she's German.
Yeah, it was where she hid out.
but they hadn't escaped.
Like they're like,
They hadn't. She's from Germany, so did they? I thought they
yeah,
stayed in Germany, and then they tried to
no, it was
escape.
Amsterdam.
Well, the story was that at least the one like the play that I read was that she was like trying to escape, and then she just ended up like they just ended up occupying. So they were like, we're just gonna hide. That's what I recall happening. I mean, I had to read this whole play, so that kind of here's the timeline. I'm gonna look. Like I want to see when they actually. I thought. I mean, why would they just leave the Dutch? Wow, I'm very confused right now.
And it was like we actually went where she was. Like it was cool. Like they had this like they built this thing into the wall where they were hiding, and like you went behind it. It was crazy. It was funny. They like if you had a backpack, they let you take it if it was small, but you had to like put it on the front of you. You weren't allowed to have it on your back. Like areas were so small to walk through. Um, and it like they had the like where it was where they were hiding, and it like you went into this like hidden area, and there were like a couple rooms behind them. Like that's where she lived. It's where her family lived. Like it was crazy. Like you could actually see like markings on the wall of like how tall they were, and like it was really moving, I guess is the word.
I mean, yeah, when I read the play, I was moved by it too. She was born in Germany, so she lived in Germany. So I guess they must have left. Yeah, they moved to Amsterdam in order to escape the Germans. I don't know why they would move to. That was kind of dumb. That was kind of dumb for them, though. Why would they move to a country directly next to Germany? It's like that's. I mean, if you're afraid of the Germans, why move to a country that's? I would be moving a lot further away from the country that I. That's it.
Well, I mean, it wasn't
I know they didn't
wasn't
know
as
that the Germans
easy.
were going to do that, but I would. I would have kind of figured. I don't know. I would have. I don't know if I would if it was me, and I was just trying to outrun a government that I was afraid was
Yeah,
going to do
we're not
something.
talking like, oh, we just hopped in our car and drove. Like
They kind of did.
logistics weren't as easy as.
I'm just if it
Not
was
to mention, there's also like passport control and like stuff like that.
I would have at least gone to
'Cause
England, probably. I would not have been anywhere near, maybe France even, but France got occupied, but it wasn't for long. All right, let's just probably should finish the show.
Did you find another response?
Yeah, it's Efteling. That's the one I sent you.
Oh, okay. Ready? 3, 2.
Another response, and the final response we got, and I think one of the coolest ones. It didn't really because it doesn't pop into our minds like the U.S. parks do, but the European park came up, which is Efteling, and I can't describe. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just so cool. Like if you guys have the opportunity right now, look at or later on, look at the Efteling Park entrance. It is really really cool.
It's pretty spectacular.
It is. It is spectacular. It's pretty epic. Like it's just so awesome. I can't. That's just oh man, it's beautiful. All right. Well, yeah, that's the final response we got. I think Efteling might actually win it based on the images on NASA. Like that's in terms of just pure entrances and not including like factors leading up to it and factors leading, not even like coasters going over top. If you're just counting the actual entrance and the booth you have to walk through to enter the park, I think Efteling wins hands down. At least the ones we got, the responses, the ones that I can think of.
I gotta. So taking that out, what would you say? What's your take? Like going into this, do you have a take? What you think would be?
I I honestly, the more that I think about Busch Gardens Williamsburg, I really do like that entrance. I think again, I mean, if we're talking about Seoul toll booths, I don't really know. I don't really think any in the U.S. are that great. Like after like I feel like a lot of European parks do it better because a lot of the entrances in the U.S. are just like brick buildings. You just walk through and then you go over. So the actual like entrances in the U.S. aren't great, but like Efteling here again, like the actual building you walk through to go through is just so cool. So I think in terms of like immersion and in terms of theming and in terms of like the 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 feeling that you get walking in the atmosphere of the entrance, I think Busch Gardens Resort does such a great job because you really do feel like you're entering England when you enter the park.
So I have to actually go with a park you don't hear talked about much. Idlewild.
All right.
And the reason why I like Idlewild is because it's so unique in that you pay, I guess technically it's a free parking park
Uh huh.
because as you're driving in, you pay for your admission. Everybody pays for their admission. And as soon as you go through the entrance in the parking lot, like it's all considered the park. So like
Hmm.
there's multiple places where you
Gotcha.
can like walk in the park from different areas, and like it's just such a unique atmosphere, and it's so wooded, and like it's like you're driving through the woods, and like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it's such a unique atmosphere, and I don't know of any other park that's like that. Um that's what I'm gonna go with. And I mean some of it is nostalgia too from when I was a kid, but I don't know, it's just mainly because it's such a unique the way it's done is so unique. I just think it needs a mention. And I just really like it.
I do want to give an
I
honorable
mean,
mention
there's
somewhat that
not
I just kind of thought of, and that's just because it's so unique too. But SeaWorld San Antonio actually has a really cool entrance, and it's partially because I mean the actual entrance, like I love the entrance itself. I'm gonna pause real quick. Pause real quick. I have to do something. Discord just started freaking out.
it did.
It did. Everybody probably just saw that. 1 second. All right, here we go. All right, this is. I'm gonna. Okay, here we go. You ready? I just sent that to you so
What
you have
is
a
that?
reference. That's SeaWorld San Antonio's entrance.
That's really cool.
I know. So I'm gonna bring that up. 1 second. I'm gonna backtrack to where I was. Then I'm gonna just. And it's partially because I mean the actual entrance, like I love the entrance itself. It's really cool too because what happens is you enter through this gateway, and then there's SeaWorld San Antonio over here. There's Aquatica, and then there's Discovery Coast. So it's like you get to it's like three parks. Like you get to like choose. Like I can go to the water park here and go straight in, or I can go to the Discovery Center, and then like you have to actually go through another toll booth to get. So this isn't even just SeaWorld San Antonio entrance. This is like I don't even. It's like the whole entity's entrance. It's kind of cool.
That's pretty cool.
SeaWorld San Antonio. 1 sec, let me see. SeaWorld San Antonio actually has a really cool entrance. All right, so I'm at 120. It doesn't really matter because we're all going to be out of whack anyway. So just do wherever you need to think you need to do it. You ready?
I don't.
Just
Yeah.
are you ready? That's fine. I'll figure it out in post.
3, 2.
I think it's a really, really cool entrance because the actual entrance isn't really the entrance. So you walk in through this like huge building. It's really, really beautiful building too. Even like at nighttime, it'll like glow, which is really cool. But you walk through this, and it's like almost like it's all glass building that's like surrounds you, and there's like a mural of the whales that they have there, the killer whales, the orcas, and then you actually once you enter through that, then you have like you get to. It's almost like you get to pick which park you want to go into. So they have like the entrance to Aquatica. You can go through there and go through the toll booth to actually get in. So you really haven't even given them the people your ticket. You gave the people. I believe there's actually people at this first entrance, and then there's a second entrance too, kind of to the actual park you're going to. So you go through and you will give them your ticket at the first entrance, and then you'll kind of choose like, do I want to go to Discovery Cove? Do I want to go to SeaWorld San Antonio? do I want to go to Aquatica? And so then you actually get to go through those entrances. But it's just a beautiful facade, and it's really unique. I think it's a really good entrance. So I was actually like blown away. Like that was like the first impression I got, and I really liked it. Like that was really really unique and different. So it was really cool when I first went there. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, that's you just sent me that picture, and like I'm just staring at it. Like I've just been staring at it for like the last minute
Yeah,
because it looks so cool.
it's really cool. And even during the day, it's not lit up like that, but even then, it's like it's all glass, so it's really cool looking, and it's definitely beautiful. All right, so
Yeah, certainly.
I think that's about it for this week's episode, though. I joked around about
I
maybe
do want to
making.
say though, I do want to say everybody out there
Uh
who's 18 and older, go vote. I don't care who you're voting for, go vote. If you don't vote, I don't want to hear anything out of you.
oh.
Just go vote. Just go vote. It's an important thing to do,
Vote
especially
for
this
Alan
election.
Schilke.
Go do it. Yeah, I mean, if you want to write them in, I
Yeah.
won't complain. But please go vote. Go vote. It's very important.
I cannot vote, so all of you that are under the same boat as me, don't vote.
Yeah, if you're not old enough, like I understand, but if you are old enough,
Now we should start the
and
debate
you should,
if the age of voting is correct. If 16 should be or 18 should be the age. Should it be 16? Should be 21? Here we go. Round 3.
Personally, I'm all for lowering the voting age. I
Uh,
mean, politics affects you.
yeah, I agree.
Why shouldn't you be able to vote?
Yeah, I agree actually, but that's a
But
debate.
that's another topic.
That's a debate for another show.
Right
That's a
now,
debate
all
for
we're
another,
saying is go vote.
another
If
podcast
you're old enough
platform
to
in general.
vote, go vote.
All right,
Yeah,
so that's
yes,
about
it
it for
is.
this week's episode. Next week's weekly poll, I joked about it maybe being, talking about the Montana and Nebraska stuff. I don't really think that's going to be the poll. The poll actually is going to be our favorite coaster logos, your favorite coaster logos, and ours as well. We'll bring up ours on next week's episode. Any logo, past, present, future. If you if you have some insight, maybe the Cedar Fair corporate guys are listening. Like, I like this new logo we're doing. We'll unveil. Hey, by the way, we're introducing this kind of ride. That'd be pretty cool. So, don't think that'll happen though. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. It's been a long one, and like me and Bob both said it, I think we're gonna conk out after this episode. Pretty tired, but
Yeah.
thank you guys so much.
Actually,
for
it hasn't been as long as our last 2 weeks.
no, it hasn't.
Which is
It has not.
crazy because it feels so much longer.
Oh yeah, but we still.
Feels like
I
we've been
think.
talking for
I think because of our
hours
debate, we
and
just
hours.
we drained ourselves. Like so much
Maybe. It
energy
just
went
took us
into
out.
trying to convince the other one. But if you want to answer this week's weekly poll, which is again favorite coaster logos, GhostShockPodcast.com/poll is the place to be. If you want to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, you can follow us on Twitter at @CoasterShock_pod or Bob's Twitter at CoasterShockBob. Facebook is at CoasterShockPod, and so is Instagram. YouTube, look up Coaster Talk Podcast. Those are spaces between talk and podcast, and between coaster and talk. And then contact us. I'm going to restart that. This is really bad. I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, I know what I was trying to talk about, but I alliterated that really weirdly. Facebook or Instagram.
I said.
What? If you want, do you want to do it, Bob? I'm just kidding. But,
No,
if you want
it would feel awkward.
to trying to convince the other one. But if you want to answer this week's all right, I'm gonna start back from where I said.
What was that?
If you want to, I'm just gonna start back right where I started from, like the very beginning.
Wait, where?
The beginning of the show. I'm just kidding.
You're gonna do it all over again.
Just one more take, Bob. Come on, you can do it. I'm gonna do like just starting back over from like go to the CoasterShockPodcast.com/poll. You ready?
All right, you want to just finish it then?
Yeah, unless I say something that you want to comment on, but
You're just doing the contact stuff, right?
yeah, but I mean, sometimes I say something and you're like, yeah, I don't care.
Well, I don't know where to cut though.
Okay, I'll just do it real quick. It's okay. Here we go.
I mean, let me just record at the end, and you.
It's aight. We'll just do
Okay.
it. I just won't mention anything that
Okay.
requires your commentary. T3 is an awful roller coaster. I'm just kidding. And we all universally agree on that. All right. So if you want to answer this week's weekly poll, go to coastertalkpodcast.com/poll. Again, the poll is, what is your favorite coaster logo? If you want to follow us on social media, you can go to Twitter and follow us at coastertalk_pod or Bob's Twitter account at coastertalkbob. If you want to follow us on Facebook, it is at coastertalkpod. Instagram is at coastertalkpod as well. YouTube, at Coaster Talk Podcast. It's not at Coaster Talk Podcast. It's just Coaster Talk Podcast. YouTube, search Coaster Talk Podcast. There's a space between Coaster and Talk and Podcast. And then go to contact us if you have any comments, questions, or concerns by going to coastertalkpodcast.com/contact. Email James at coastertalkpodcast.com or Bob at coastertalkpodcast.com if you want to argue with us or give us any insight and give us any personal tips. I don't know what you guys want to talk to us about, but there's our emails there if you want to do so. Thank you guys all so much for listening to this week's episode of Coaster Talk Podcast. We'll see you guys all on next week's show. Man, god dang. Why is it the end that ruins everything? It's like the end is just like up until then.
Wait, what just happened here? What do you mean enter Nyquist command? The hell?
I'm sure Pam went to bed like 4 hours ago.
She didn't, because she actually responded to your
She said Maury's Piers, yeah.
Yeah, and the...
Alright, this stream's over. Nobody's watching, so bye.
Alright, see anybody there.